That would be good.
There we go. And welcome on Hint Plays, because I forgot to go live at the same time that Nightbites did. Pro streamers. If you know any, please send them our way.
It's getting too hot. It's getting too hot.
It is.
It's not properly summer, so I can't really say it's summer.
It's got absolutely nothing to do with heat, I'm afraid, in my case. It's simply age. I'm a year older than I was last time we played, and obviously, therefore, I've started to deteriorate.
Dementia is setting in.
That's the one. Who are you again?
I've written a book, you know.
Yeah, I've been listening to those. I don't know if the sale is still on Audible, but they've had a sale that's for members only, but 40% off everything, basically.
Cool.
And that means that the I'm Sorry I'll Read That Again releases that are on Audible are like £5.20 at that level. So I've bought the first two.
Yeah.
If I get paid again and the sale is still on, I may just buy the next two.
If you get paid, if you get paid when the sales are, not if you get paid.
Yeah. So, where we left off. Now I don't know if the pings are actually going to work. I don't remember how to actually ping the thing. It's pointer. So, Leonard and Brunhilde were kind of. Okay, I didn't quite get the centre on where the arrow is, but that arrow there that I've just circled badly.
Ah, yes, I see.
Having pulled Leonard out of the sewer with his bowl, tracking the sewer exfil route out towards the edge of the massive plateau that Middenheim is built on.
Wouldn't it have been a scream if it'd just been carried on all the way down the sewer and it opens up like halfway up the sheer mountainside?
Well, almost certainly it does. Probably higher than halfway.
Yeah, a lot higher than halfway, yeah. Yeah, probably no more than sort of 20, 30 feet from the top.
There is no doubt a beautiful, air quotes, brown waterfall somewhere on the edge of Middenheim's plateau.
There's several brown waterfalls from the edge of Middenheim's plateau. They can be seen.
Well, that's endearing.
And when you're on the
dark
cable
fantasy
car on the way up, depending on which cable car you're on, you will see one or two of them with the massive iron grates that prevent people actually getting
from swimming to their doom.
You know, New has these waterfall streams, and they're beautiful, and I know they're salt in the model, but they're beautiful white streams of frothing water down the side of their plateau. And what do we have? Recyclables.
Yep.
That's a very pleasant moment. Good evening, Candice, and thank you for the host.
There are no doubt some fantastic gardens at the foot of this plateau.
Yes.
Very well tended.
Yes, and generations.
Lush vegetation at the bottom of the mountain.
And generations of farmers who have evolved to have no sense of smell whatsoever.
Yeah, there has to be some kind of wildlife evolution that's been triggered based on long-term effects of this.
Yeah.
Now you see,
there have been some cultural evolution because there are goods that get transported through the cable cars up to the city. So clearly they are growing stuff around the city. So all that's grown is getting fed up to the city. So there is a cycle going on there.
Now I'm seriously thinking about if I was still writing capsule settings, capsule locations, I would have to write that capsule location, the dual city of the agricultural one at the foot of the cliff, and the more urban environment at the top of the cliff, and the two literally feeding off one another for their processes.
Yikes!
So with Leonard and Brunhilde having now found out the route that the bowl and thus the sewage takes, having left Gaetano's house, was everyone else planning to head back to Ezio's?
I believe yes. Yeah, I believe we were. We've had a chat with that scholar.
Oh, yes, you did.
Yeah, Erdi and
the chat with the scholar.
was Erdie and Lenore, wasn't it? You both went, or was it just Erdie?
Yeah. And established that there are sort of legends regarding people with the eye colour of the kid who's gone missing, and coincidentally Lenore, which hasn't really stressed Lenore at all under any circumstances. And she can't decide whether she's an imminent kidnapping victim or, frankly, whether she should just set herself up as a kidnapping victim and see what happens.
But yes, you were doing that at the same time as we were chasing a bowl through a sewer. We get all the glamorous roles. And as viewers will notice, we have followed the wise and tactically sound policy of splitting the party at the first possible opportunity.
Yeah.
Not the first time we've done it. We did it at the first possible opportunity, then we did it again.
Because I didn't teach them a lesson on the first time. I didn't punish them.
Yeah, so you let it slip. So now we're just going to be splitting the party all over the place.
I'm waiting for when you split it 4 ways, and that's where the sucker punches come in.
No, would we force you to run 4 separate threads and have conversations with multiple NPCs?
Yes.
Not for
Yes,
long.
you would.
Well,
That'd be the first time.
no, that's what you guys do to me.
Exactly. So turn and turn about.
Yeah.
So for those of you that are joining us and have been here for previous sessions, you will notice that we are minus Leonard tonight. Mr. Jick has been unable to join us, so he is currently absent without dice.
Just
So-
assume he'll be doing something truly disgusting at every possible
Yes.
opportunity.
Just assume that we're all keeping as far away from him as possible because he's just come out of a sewer and has an allergy to washing.
Yeah. Yes.
So arm's length is not far enough. Zweihander length is not far enough. We are keeping well away from Leonard right now.
I think
Arm's
we're
length is
talking.
not far enough.
I think we're talking 15-foot spear here. What do you reckon? Ball spear time.
Possibly
Good-
2 on,
good
end
thought.
to end. Just to be sure.
Works for me.
So are you planning any detours on your respective routes back from the sewer / the scholar?
Not
Would you
unless I
mind?
can plan a detour that
Because-
dumps Leonard into a large pool of water.
Would you mind, Knight? Because the notes I took apparently don't encompass the conversation that I swear to God I took notes on. But that could just be fantasy grounds had a fit. Just quickly running over what this scholar told us, because my brain has decided to give me only basic information.
Largely, not a lot.
Oh, okay.
There is, he had vague recollections of legends around people with a specific hair and eye coloration,
Yeah.
but couldn't immediately lay his hands on the book to get to the detail. He needed time to research.
Did he give us a title for the book?
No.
No, because that would have been too useful. Okay, that's cool. That's fair enough then. That might explain why I don't have any notes on it. I may have intended to and then just sat there and gone, oh, all right then. You're not as useful as we thought you were, mate.
Yeah, it's one of those sort of crazy librarian moments where, were he younger and more agile, he would have been flinging books around his little hovel. But he has neither the agility nor the speed to do that. So it's probably I believe he said a day or two to find the right time.
That's it. Okay.
He
Okay.
didn't seem the most with it of
Can
people.
you remind me what the name of the missing innkeeper's daughter is?
Sophia.
Sophia.
That was it.
Just thinking, I've got virtually no notes on real paper. I thought maybe I'd actually make some in Fantasy Ground. Yeah. Since it has the facility for me to do so, what the heck?
Absolutely. I can't remember which of the named NPCs I set up as a scholar because apparently either I didn't write it down.
I would probably recognise the name if I heard it again,
Yeah.
I think
but
Maurizio.
possibly.
Yeah.
Right.
Apparently
So far
spelling
we're
is
still
something other
very
people
much
don't
in
know.
the old quarter.
Yep.
Um,
I still want kind of mafiosi music playing at me. That's a real issue. I
Does
want
anybody
some
have the
kind
soundtrack to the Godfather movies?
yeah, this is it. I've kind of got sort of accordionist on the corner. You know, the one who's also running the numbers game. Needed. You know, it's that kind of feel. And the Gaetano is clearly, you know, he's a good man of the people who probably loves his mum.
Oh yes.
It's because she makes the best spaghetti.
Yes, of his political enemies.
Oh, nicely done,
Perfect.
sir. Nicely done.
Bang on. Okay. Where do we go from here?
sorry, as you, I've got my laptop just here, and all the sounds are running through the laptop anyway. So I thought, I've got the city audio. Let's just get the YouTube up as well.
Yep, here we go. Yeah. Okay, clean my glasses. Massive smear that wasn't there before. Excellent stuff. Well done, Drop. Okay, so yeah, I think we're headed back to Ezio's to regroup, forcibly wash Leonard,
Okay.
and figure out our next move with the limited information that we have. Because unfortunately, the whole Prime Boss has kidnapped Sophia theory has kind of fallen apart.
I never had a theory that he had.
No, but I was hoping that somebody affiliated to him might have
It
done.
was always very clear that someone was trying to make it look like he'd done it, but there's no way he actually did.
Fantastic. So the incredibly guilty criminal is
Aye, he's
apparently
guilty
innocent
of all
this,
kinds of stuff, but not this.
not this particular crime. Excellent.
Which makes him, in this instance, our friend. We've done him a favour. We've scratched his back. Now we just wait for him to scratch ours.
Okay, who knew I could apparently do the one eyebrow thing?
Apparently so.
I've seen it a few times, so yes.
That's the first time I've noticed it, to be honest. Oh boy. Okay.
I wish I could do it with both. I can only do that one. I can't do that one.
So you could never play James Bond.
No, it's got to be that one for James Bond.
No, it's got to be both for James Bond. That was what Roger Moore said, that when he went from playing Simon Templar to James Bond, it really stretched his acting talents, because as Simon Templar he only had to use one eyebrow. As Bond he had to use both.
Yes. Okay. So, are we, and by we I mean me and Erdith, making it back to Ezio's unmolested?
Uh,
Now that's a very interesting question.
Oh, I would hope the GM would know, but never mind.
GM hastily looks to see whether he's got any random encounter tables for Middenheim. Realises because he has the City of the White Wolf source book, of course he does.
I have random encounter tables for just about everything.
He's
Yeah,
rolling.
for specific areas of Middenheim. It's a fantastic
Yes,
book for those who
exactly.
don't know it.
He's rolling. It's
And
not.
you are in the roughest area of Middenheim.
Oh, bring it.
Yeah,
I mean-
she's fine.
It wasn't too bad when I was here last time. I mean, someone was even polite enough to send me in the right direction.
Yeah. Do you mean they told you where to go?
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, there are ways of phrasing things.
There are. There really, really are. I'm
Okay,
carrying my
well-
two-hander at the moment.
And Lenore, roll. I believe it's intelligence. Yes.
Ah!
Please.
Okay. Oh, for Phil's sake.
Okay, cool, thank you.
Okay, God, Erdith did.
Oh wow, that's not too bad actually.
It's not too bad at all. There appears to be nothing out of the ordinary on your chip. Okay. Apologies for the sound effect that everyone apart from my players heard there. I forgot that was running. I need to turn that off. There we go.
Players would now like to know
what we didn't
everybody
hear.
else heard.
Yes.
The sound of
Boing. Okay. This is Robin Zen here.
And basically, I've been messing about with trying to get custom sounds for people when they start typing things in chat. And because I know Drut loves the sound effects so much, just as a test, I had the boingy sound attached to Drut's name.
Right.
Now I know that it works. I can put something sensible there. Because I want to give my mods and my subs a sound effect when they come in that sort of welcomes them to
Oh, yeah,
chat.
that's
rather
good.
than
That's
getting
funky.
away.
I like that idea.
yes.
Now I know it works. I can talk to you about what would you like for your sound?
Fair enough.
Maybe
Yes.
something to disable during our P streams, however.
Yeah, I've turned that off now. That's not going to happen again. I was working it earlier today. Now I have it working. It's
Just have this wonderful image of a hugely dramatic scene. Half the party's down. We don't know if we're going to make it. Somebody turns up, types in, "What have I missed?" And a comic sound effect kicks in.
yeah. Right, so yes, your journey back to the Grey Lord is uneventful. You're in daylight now. The city, even this very dangerous part of the city, appears to be behaving as you would expect. Now, with Lenore being a fairly
Imposing
carries
is the
herself
term.
with a militaristic gait,
And has a 6-foot sword.
and carries a six-foot
Yeah.
sword. Would-be cut purses would appear to be giving you a wide berth.
Seems like I've got only sort of 3 weapons on me, so it's fine.
only 3 of the armory that you possess.
Yes.
What about Brunhilde?
What about Brunhilde?
Is Brunhilde heading back as well?
Oh yes, Brunhilde is heading back. Brunhilde currently is in the company of Leonard, who, no offence to Jack's roleplay, because it's because he's doing such a good job on Leonard,
Yeah.
is the person Brunhilde least wants to spend time with. So she wants to be with the others again.
Mm-hmm.
So, would you be kind enough, Fish, to likewise make an intelligence roll, please?
An intelligence roll for Brunhilde,
Mm-hmm.
who is not... She's averagely intelligent, I suppose. It could be worse.
Yeah.
Then again, when I roll like that, it really doesn't matter how intelligent she is.
Ouch.
No, it wasn't that bad a roll, but I did fail.
Cool. Okay. No worries. Then, likewise, you arrive back at the Grey Lord without incident, possibly due to the aroma cloud of your travelling companion.
Quite possibly.
Aromatherapy.
Oh, that is amazing. You can pitch that as an advertising model.
Wade through sewers, survive the old quarter.
And do you
Yes.
struggle with unwanted persons invading your coin purse? Simply dip your slave in the sewers before travelling.
Oh, that. See, now that would get Jix. Leonard's dander up.
Interest.
Did you say dip your slave? He's not
Yes.
anyone's slave.
No,
Yes.
slaves do as they're told.
That is the name of one of your pamphlets, right?
I need to write a new pamphlet now.
So, upon arriving back at the Grey Lord, which for ease of GMing, you'll mysteriously arrive together,
As luck and the script would have it.
as luck indeed, and the script would have it. The hearts that were adorning the garden have now been removed. Obviously, no idea where you've arrived. They're simply not there as you approach the door.
It says here they're having a barbecue. If so, I'm looking really leerily at the hamburgers.
So there we go. Planned new leaflet. We aren't slaves. Open brackets. Slaves do as they're told. Close brackets. Perfect title for a new Brunhilde pamphlet. Once again, bringing down the man.
This man, I really hope he's got some kind of.
Well, in this area, this man is called Graf, and we don't approve of him at all.
I
Can't
was
remember
hoping
what
that
his actual
the man
name is.
has
He's
some kind
Graf
of nice,
somebody, but I
solid
don't know.
mental health, because you just keep bringing him down at every opportunity.
Actually, he doesn't. I only remember bits of Power Behind the Throne.
Power
but
Behind the Throne, he really doesn't.
he
have
really does
much
not
of a
have
drive
sound
on
mental
his
health.
side. No, he
Does-
doesn't.
Not one
Does-
screw fully tightened.
Does he himself do any hard graft?
Ooh.
Ouch.
Yes, obviously he's a vet in his part time, because that's why he's the Graf Spay.
Ouch.
Ouch.
Rocks fall all night. New game,
indeed.
please.
Yes.
Sorry.
So as you get back to the tavern, Ezio isn't anywhere to be seen. Inga is setting things out for the day at the tavern. Ludovica appears to be assisting,
Hmm.
and Matilda is sat at the table drinking what looks like a glass of milk.
Yeah. White Russian.
Now that would be Ivan, who also
Yeah,
is not
true.
present at the moment.
Oh, good, because losing track of some of the scarier people in this scenario
He's
so far.
not downstairs as you walk through the door.
Right. We've had a day out. Haven't really accomplished
still morning.
anything. Oh, God, yes, I know.
It was dark when you arrived at. So no, it was dawn as you arrived at Gotar's gaff.
I can tell those gaff. I'm sorry.
I'm now, having started taking notes in Fantasy Grounds, it's going to my head now, so I'm just making some notes about the Grey Lord.
Uh-huh.
So can I get the names of the owner and staff so that I've got them noted here
Yep,
and
so
don't
the
have to keep
owner
forgetting them?
The owner is Ezio. He's a gentleman in his 40s, 50s, maybe. Portly, but a nice sort of aura to the chap. His daughter Sophia is the girl who's gone missing. She's about 10 to 12 years old, much like Lenore, silver hair, purple eyes. Again, it seemed like a nice girl, pleasant, inquisitive, curious. There's Inga, who is, as far as you can tell so far, barmaid and second in command. Doesn't appear to be part of Ezio's family, just hired help, member of staff even, member of staff.
Righto.
Like with words. So that's the staff. Then when you get to the guests, obviously there's you lot. And you've got Hibat, who's the chap from Araby who you rescued from the sewers, who presumably is still upstairs, having been tended to by Matilda.
Presumably. And then we have got Matilda.
Traumatized.
So then you have Matilda, who is a cleric of
Shalia,
Shalia.
which apparently I can't spell.
Charlie,
I can't even remember it. Shalia, the healing goddess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shalia, or Shalia, or however you want to pronounce that. I've always just called it Shalia.
I too go with Shalia normally. No, Shalia would also work.
If there were two of them, no, we won't go there.
I'm going to give you a
That
dirty
will
look
hurt
because
me
I was,
tomorrow. Not tomorrow, Tuesday at Swords. If I
was
go there,
literally about to make that joke, so I'm going to just give you a dirty look.
Let's look as
Pretend I
beat you to it.
wasn't.
She's, although I haven't really described her much, she's sort of fairly pretty, blonde hair, slight build.
Mhm.
Has a tendency to wear whites and greens. The green isn't so much a Shalia colour. Shalia tends to be more of you shall wear white.
Yeah, which makes it all the more inexplicable that she wants anything to do with the utterly filthy Leonard.
Hmm.
It would stain quite prolifically.
Who?
Maybe
Yeah, his
maybe the
trip
first thing
does-
that they teach them in the seminary or whatever is a simple minor magic clerical spell for
Cleanse.
removing stains.
Or it could be the
It's
rational
prestidigitation all over again.
the dirt would show less on the green than the white.
Yeah, I think we've. It was invented by the great priestess Scotch Guard.
Oh dear lord, it's going to be one of those days.
Let's face it,
Apparently so.
all Leonard's trip into the sewer did was just even out the filth.
Yeah,
Is
that's
a,
true.
Powerful mystic art and don't only to their priests. They call it vanish.
Then we have Ivan,
Yes, Ivan.
who is this mountain of a man who you know to be one of the local pit fighters.
Frankly, I say we just wait for him to vanish and follow whoever attempts to carry him off in a basket.
Look for the guy with the broken back and the triple hernia.
Yeah, 6 guys. It's all right. It's just some bread.
I think I have all the information I need about Ivan. Ivan, the pit fighter, built like the Faustschlag.
Yes. For those that are unaware, the Faustschlag is the massive flat-top mountain that Middenheim is built on.
Yeah.
Flat top or number 2? I mean, let's face it. You can go either way. Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's going to be one of them.
Yeah.
It is. And finally, there's Ludovica, who hasn't really
Oh yes.
told you much about herself generally. She certainly seems very inquisitive about how they got in to take the girl and Hibart. Seemed to have a fair idea about how such things would work.
I honestly can't decide which side of the fence she's coming from. Ludovica is either Watch or ex-Watch, or she's a Crim. And for the life of me, I can't decide which.
She's certainly got an athletic build to her. Dark hair. She's not pale skinned, but she's, I suppose,
Well,
weather beaten might be the way to
I'm-
look at it.
I'm taking sides in my notes. I've got Ludovica. If she's not a rogue, I will eat Leonard's hat.
I'm hoping that she's an undercover Watch officer.
That doesn't stop her from being a rogue.
No, doesn't indeed.
Didn't say it
She almost
did.
certainly is a rogue.
Oh, Fishy, with your get out of jail free.
Yep. I didn't
Yeah.
specify career, I only specified career class. I'm cannier than that.
The only person who seems to disappear without notice from the tavern now and again. Yet mysteriously there's someone who looks just like them in a dark hooded cloak.
Yeah,
No one knows who it is though.
Everybody's too polite to tell the difference.
Yeah, Ludovica hasn't disappeared from sight yet. She's actually been quite visible in everything she's done. There's been nothing underhand about anything that she's done in your line of sight, at least.
Yeah, so all that just means is that she's good at it.
I mean, that in itself can be quite suspicious. It's like the guy who comes up to you and says, just letting you guys know I'm not up to any criminal activity.
Yeah, quite.
I'm going to have to do that. The next time I want to provide a distraction to something in a game where everybody else is doing a crime, let's do a blood sport, I'm going to walk up to the first copper I meet and say, hi, just thought I'd let you know I'm not burgling, casing, robbing, or planning any kind of aggressive criminal activity.
Hello. I'm here on completely legitimate business and have no plans to do anything illegal. Carry on. That's
that
the
is very
ultimate
much in the,
distraction, isn't it? That's what the non-thief in the party does. Just walks up to the watch and says that, while the thief is off somewhere else.
Yeah, that's very much the Crichton to the Inquisitor. Hello,
Yes.
sir. Can I distract you for a moment, please?
I used to be a thief, but recently I've got into sabotage.
Ah.
Okay.
Sabotage.
Okay.
So yeah, that's a rundown of the inhabitants
Thank you
of the
very
tavern
much.
and what you have of them.
Thank you.
As I said, of those, Ivan and Ezio aren't within sight as you enter the door. Sophia, you already know is missing, so there's no
Yeah.
point me saying that. Everyone else, oh, and Hibbart presumably is still upstairs in bed, not dying.
Yeah, we're not allowed to talk to him until he's properly not dying, which I think is just, really just showing off, to be honest. Huh.
I mean, there's not dying, and then there's being egregious about it.
It is. It's aggressively not dying.
I thought that was what Lenora did for a living.
Aggressively
not dying. Yeah,
Yeah.
sounds about right, to
Rule
be
1,
honest.
press 5. Rule 2, be aggressive about it.
The best defense is nobody being alive who can hurt you.
I have no living enemies at all.
It is perfect stealth if nobody is alive to tell anyone that you were there.
Yes, nobody ever saw what I did.
That's the Conan
That
brand
is
of stealth.
very much the Conan brand of stealth, yeah.
It is. It really, really is.
I really must run the Conan RPG and see if it's any good.
So as you guys walk through the door, Inga hears your footsteps on the floor, looks up.
Probably
"Oh, just
smells
the
then.
experience. What would you like?"
A bath for him,
Aye,
Leonard.
that is a grand plan.
And drinks for the rest of you?
Yes, because we've
Drinks
just
and nose pegs would be good and all.
I'm sorry, is there a big synchronized swimming component in this city? I nearly said in this shitty. There definitely. There's paging Dr. Freud. Oh God. Okay.
Of course, this is a game where Herr Dr. Freud could exist.
Yes. Very much so.
This is true. Okay.
For all we know, he's kidnapping people and experimenting on them with a preference for pit fighters.
Well, I don't know quite how else to wander around looking like a pit fighter.
No, you're doing a grand job of looking like a pit fighter.
What would
Yeah.
you being a
Well
bit
done
like?
on that.
Yes. I was hoping you see. Let's try and remember how Lenore speaks,
Aye.
which is very, very the upper class of RP.
I like talking to Lenore. It's great fun seeing how long I can talk like Brunhilde before your accent starts to slip in the same direction.
No, you see, my accent very rarely slips north.
Oh, I think it might, love. I think it might.
My accent unfortunately doesn't go north of the Dartford Tunnel. No, I think the problem is that it would be useful for me to attract the attention of anybody who's kidnapping pit fighters, because
well,
then, if nothing else, I would know that I was due to be kidnapped and could fight
I
them
think
off.
you were going the right way about it before we got distracted by all this business with, the petty and so forth. I think the key there is going to be to actually get into some fights, find some of these unofficial fights that are going on, because that's got to be where they're targeting now, isn't it? Because if they can't look at the arenas because the pit fights aren't officially on, they'll have to look where they are.
Did Rapetti give me any idea of where the illicit pit fights were?
He said he knew some people and would ask.
Uh-huh.
Meantime, Inga, you're an absolute love, so couple of ales, please, and as I said, a bath for him. Or as she said, in fact, a bath for him. No idea what the elf wants.
Oh, I'll take whatever you've got behind the bar at this point.
All of it?
I think there's a rat by the looks of it.
It's
There's
the
a rat in
ferret
kitchen,
soul.
but I'm gonna give it
Let's not start with all of it.
The
We may have done that.
washing up water. Enjoy.
a round of
Yeah.
ales it is.
It's the ice melt, it is. Yes, okay.
I'll bring it over to a table.
Yes.
Cheers, love.
Okay. So,
So she ushers Leonard upstairs to the bathing room and sort of almost pushes him in.
Probably
To
with a
the
broom
room, not the
handle.
bath.
Only
Just
almost.
You borrow my sword if you want.
And then washes her hands behind the bar and proceeds to pour you a round of drinks.
I'm so glad she did it in that order.
Aye.
Why she just poured vodka over her hands? I'm not quite sure what's going on. Okay. When we get our beers then, I think we need to have a bit of a conflab.
So, where are we? What do we actually know? We know that Gaetano Papetti did not kidnap Sophia.
No. I mean, he's clearly dirty as they come, but that doesn't mean he's actually a kidnapper.
We still don't know why they took him out.
No.
Not really.
The scholarly chap we went to speak to apparently has knowledge of legendary kidnappings regarding people with eye colour matching Paul Sophia. Now, could that tie up with the not summoning circle in the back garden?
Well, they're not summoning circle in the back garden. We're clearly a fake. I mean, I thought that were a frame up for Papetti. I thought that was what we were assuming now.
It's a frame up for somebody.
Well, Papetti, because that's who Ezio immediately thought it were. Now, the question is, was that in itself just a distraction? To make people think the whole business was there to frame up Papetti, when actually there's something more to it?
Or whatever it is, they've put heart into it.
You're not funny, you know. I don't know why you do that.
Would you like to make a dodge check? Because otherwise Lenore is going to Gibbs you undefended.
If he doesn't have the dodge low skill, he's got no way of getting out of the way. Ah, the wonders of role-playing systems.
Oh dear.
Does he? Oh, I have dodge blow. Cool.
Yeah, you're the only person here who can actually avoid attacks.
Yeah. Stick a ferret up his nose or something.
No, I'm not
A bit
criticising
large.
the system. We are all assumed to be attempting to dodge at all times. That is part of the basic difficulty of hitting somebody, which is why you need to actually roll dice and not just say, I hit him. Dodge blow simply gives you an extra chance because you're better at it.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so Sophia has gone missing. Possible frame up for the petty.
Aye.
Declare their brain fry. The pit fighters are missing. God
There's a
knows
lot of
what's
missing
got them.
people going on in this city at the moment.
Frankly, I'll be astounded if Leonard makes it downstairs after his bath.
I don't
I'll
think
be
anyone
su-
wants to kidnap Leonard.
I'll be slightly surprised if there's out left a Leonard after his bath. I think it may only be dirt that's holding him together.
I've always had my suspicions that he is in fact just a halfling.
It's possible.
walking
Oh, a
on
dirt
the-
elemental.
You see, I was thinking earth elemental, but actually...
No, in his case, definitely dirt elemental.
Nurgle. Nurgle handles filth, doesn't he?
Yeah, that's part of his remit, I believe. More disease, really, than...
That still falls under Leonard's umbrella.
That's probably still Leonard, yeah.
I'm never going under Leonard's umbrella.
he may be an avatar of Nurgle.
Okay, so we've got a missing girl whose eye colour may or may not have anything to do with her
Aye.
disappearance. If it does, then I'm worried because the implication was that people with those eyes were being sacrificed
Oh, wacko.
on a, it's like sacrificing a red kid or something.
Okay. Questions that we probably need to answer for ourselves. If only on a provisional basis for the moment.
Provisional.
Do we think there is any connection between the other kidnappings and Sophia's? Or do we think that we can safely assume they are separate items?
I would like them to be tied up because I don't like the idea that this city is full of people wandering around with sacks.
Just full of kidnappers.
Yeah.
Middenheim, city of the kidnappers.
I shall tuck the sack of ferrets away.
I just have visions of their.
You haven't kidnapped anyone. You've just ferret napped.
It's was it the Parisian gang, the Apaches, who used to kidnap women
yes.
simply by flipping their petticoats over their head like a sack and then running away with a woman over their shoulder.
Which, despicable though such behaviour is also brilliant.
Yes.
You could very much imagine it. You could very much imagine it happening to the theme of Benny Hill.
Yep.
It would have to. It
Yeah.
would definitely have to be yakety sax. And there's also a really good excuse not to wear heavily petticoated dresses. That's just me. It's a self-defense thing.
Is that Lenore's excuse, is it? No, I am not dressing like that. I know what
Yes.
happens.
Just in case somebody decides to pick her up and flip her over his shoulder.
Yep.
154 pounds. Good luck with that. Okay. That's true. Right. So I would like them to be the same thing, but I have a feeling that they're probably separate.
Am I the only one, by the way, who really wants Ivan to be terrible as a pit fighter, just to make the name work? Never wins a fight.
Ouch.
That deserves an empowerment right there.
Yep. I don't wish to worry anyone, but if you're anticipating a serious game of Warhammer this evening, God, I'm sorry.
If you're anticipating a
very
serious
sorry.
game of Warhammer this evening, you've obviously never played Warhammer.
Yeah, I was just going to say, if you've anticipated a serious game of Warhammer ever,
Yeah.
But, okay.
Warhammer is dark fantasy with the darkness neatly balanced with humour. A lot of very silly humour. But that doesn't
Yes.
mean that when push comes to shove, it can't be dark, because trust me, it can. It was probably the first role-playing game I ever found. I know obviously not the first one, but the first one that I came across personally, with an insanity system.
Okay.
And unlike Cthulhu, you don't need to meet monsters from the outer realms to go mad. You can go mad through combat in this game. Critical wounds, critical hits deal insanity points. You can go mad just through getting the crap kicked out of you.
this is true.
So you can go mad through head trauma.
Yeah, head trauma, shock, PTSD, all that stuff basically works into the insanity system in Warhammer.
Are you
Fantastic.
trying to imply something there, Drat?
No, I would never imply what I could state right there. out
We would
loud.
never imply that you had PTSD.
No. Okay.
So,
So
as you're discussing this at this point, I've forgotten the name already.
Ludovika?
Ludwika, thank you.
I'm so
Joins the
scared
table
of all the people.
Joins your table completely unbidden, pulls up a stool, plonks her jug of ale down on the table. Don't mind me, keep talking, I'm listening.
Uh-huh. So Ludovika pops up from under the table, wheedles her way up. Okay.
No, she's walked across the room. There's no sneaking about it. You were talking loud enough that I could hear you from clear across the room. I thought I'd just come down and join you.
To be fair, we're not having a secret
We're not
conversation.
talking about Out Secret now.
Well, perhaps you have some insight here. Do you think these are related?
Wouldn't have the foggiest. I mean, on one end, you're looking at someone or some people that are making a number of very, very good fighters disappear.
Mm.
On the other hand, you're looking at someone that abducted a girl and a student.
Yeah.
We still don't know which one was real target.
We found the student. I'm still inclined to say the girl.
Maybe though. Maybe girl were a target of opportunity. Maybe
But
they
why
got
would
what
they
they
do
were.
that then?
Maybe they got what they were here for. in process, found girl, and had heard same stories that you got from young fellow out there about maybe they thought people would pay good money for the girl with that colouring.
And then we would have received a ransom.
No. If they were looking to sell her to somebody else, why would they ransom her to us?
Okay. There was information that Hibat was gathering on the tunnels and the sewer system underneath the city. Do we think that's what people were after?
Well, we were wondering about that, weren't we? But we haven't been able
Yeah.
to talk to him about it yet.
No, and the piles of papers from his room turned out to just be piles of papers.
Aye.
And there's a limit to the number of people who can read.
It's no easy solving this stuff with the information that we've got, and we can't get more information out of him until he recovers.
Where have you looked so far?
Okay, we've searched his room,
Aye.
but then so had somebody else. What we
We've searched
haven't
the sewers
done,
quite as well as we're going to.
I was going to say, to be honest, we didn't really look in the sewers once we found Hibat.
I didn't look in the sewers before we found Hibat, and I plan on keeping it that way.
Now just getting picky. So,
Perhaps we could invest in some waders.
perhaps your squeaky little friends there could actually earn their keep
I
in
thought-
rotten tomatoes and have a punt at some divination.
I thought we had invested in some waders, or a wader. He's upstairs having a bath.
No, we just call him a pell. He's there to be hit. I'm just
Well-
wondering whether perhaps a map of the area and your little squeakers.
I mean, we could always try. I'm not entirely sure what we're looking for at this point, though.
I don't think any of us are sure what we're looking for at this point.
Would it help to have, I don't know, some personal belongings of the girl who's gone missing? I
And
don't
we've
know.
tried that. We traced them back into the sewers.
This is true. If we started from the sewers, could you have another go? I'm desperate enough. I'm resorting to the ferret view.
I mean, I can certainly try, but we're going to have to look a little deeper this time.
I do not like the combination of the words deeper and sewers in any sentence.
Nobody would expect you to go down there.
Good.
Well, if nothing else, we don't want you drowning as well.
Yeah, it's alright for you longshanks.
You
I
come
can
all the way up
wade,
to
some
my
of us
waist.
can't.
You're only a foot and a half shorter than me.
Well, I guess
That makes all difference.
the best place to start would be where we lost them in the first place.
Yes. That would seem ideal, or on the grounds that we have no other current leads, unless somebody's been hoarding something that they didn't think of.
Or did think of and wanted to keep from us.
Stop giving Ludovica a side eye.
So, back into the sewers then, it would seem.
Perhaps we could stay above the sewers and just follow their course.
We could.
That seems to work quite nicely, but when last time we did that, It did take one person in sewer.
I was just thinking that, until they stopped running around on their little bit of wood and started simply squeaking in one
Oh,
place.
you're still trusting ferrets?
The issue
Right,
is-
okay.
The issue here is there are a lot of corners, and for this to work, I'm going to need to get through a few ferrets. We'll try it. Let's see.
The ferrets look up at you worriedly.
What do you mean get through a few ferrets?
How many ferrets have we got?
So I have. I did make some rolls and make a note actually. So I currently have. I have compass, as well as 12 adult ferrets and 3 young.
Bloody hell!
That's a big bag
That
of
is a
ferrets.
sack of
Oh,
ferrets.
yes. It is a sack of ferrets.
He does indeed have a sack of ferrets. Okay,
So yes, I guess we'd best get out there. And I'll
yeah.
head over to the door.
Yes, I think this might be Compass's job, possibly.
Oh goodness, it's way past compass.
Ludovica looks at you all. You're going back out there after an ale, trusting ferrets to guide you where you're going to go.
Well, we're not
Would
going
you like
do
to
it
join
before
us?
the ale, are
Not,
we?
in your, not on your life would I like to do. No, I'm.
Do you have any better ideas as to where we might be able to look for either Sophia or any of these missing gladiators?
But if you're still following leads on Sophia, then have at it.
I think,
Hoping
to be honest, I think we've run out of leads on Sophia. We
Do
only
you have
really
this-
had one, which was this fake at the petty,
to.
who we correctly reasoned it was not, and went and had a
Um,
word with. That
I don't
really,
suppose you happen.
we don't have any real clues.
You don't
Oh,
happen to
no.
know of any nefarious magic-using types who might be into human sacrifice, do you?
No.
What
Do I
makes you
look
say?
like the sort of person who would know magic using types at all?
What makes you say magic using types anyway? Surely, if it were magic using types, they would have used real magic, not fake magic, to nick her, or they wouldn't have used magic in the first place, any kind of even fake magic, because that would call attention to them. It's more likely to be people with no magic at all.
All right.
She's right.
But-
though.
So people with no magic at all, but with knowledge of how to make a superficially apparent magic ritual.
Seems like.
Or maybe the whole thing is some kind of vermilion fish. It could just be that the girl's got an unusual colouring and they reckon they can sell her.
If that's the case, then time is very much the essence.
Yes.
Aye.
So are we looking now for potentially underground people auctions?
Possibly.
Leonard!
Why do you think Leonard will know about underground people auctions? Is there someone you haven't told me about him?
Because Leonard, leave us face it, if there is a sticky little brown pie he doesn't at least try and get his fingers into.
Is that why you went down sewer?
Oh. I suppose I did kind of leave that goal open.
You
for you,
did
didn't
slightly, yeah.
I? And you kicked at it.
Inevitably.
Yes. Swing and a miss. Oh, sorry, back on Tuesdays.
I know
Okay.
my role in this gaming group. I'm the one who's here to make the rest of you look classy.
So, are we following the elven tradition and trying to find this thing or not?
I honestly don't know. I've only got a 29 intelligence.
I've got 35. I still haven't
See?
got a clue.
See, you're smarter than me. You should be doing thinking.
Okay, let's follow them. Let's see where they go.
Back to the sewers then. Okay, if we start at where we lost them, then at least we don't have to trawl through quite so much of that stuff.
Okay.
Right, so, presumably you can see the arrows that are on the page on the map.
Mm-hmm.
So where you lost them previously was the southmost arrow.
I've nearly pinged then.
Is that the third from the right?
At the
Yeah,
lower
there's a
end,
little
yes.
cluster to the below the word outcut here,
Yeah,
and it's
directly below the cube.
Yeah. Okay, I'm
That's where
presuming. Go on.
That's where you lost them and surfaced from the sewer,
Mm.
and that's where you bumped into the very large
the
gem.
big lad. Yes,
Yes.
Ivan's long lost brother.
Okay. So I shall start making my way back over there then.
So, are we thinking that they came above ground there, or was that simply you got sick and tired of wandering through a sewer and came up?
Gosh, no, that was where the ferrets wanted me to go. Of course.
So we're going back to the Outquarter to follow a day-old trail.
Does nobody else have a problem with that's where the ferrets wanted me to go? Am I really the only one?
You're not.
Oh, don't worry, I'm using a far more rigorous method this time.
2 ferrets.
Oh, you've heard it. The Two Ferrets Cafe.
Oh dear.
Oh God.
Okay, so let's go there then. Why not? If naught else, there were a fellow there who encouraged Erdy here to depart and go home. So there's something going on there. It may be unconnected. We may be stumbling into a third malevolent plot of which we currently have no information. But let's go and look. What the hell? Randall preserve us.
Uh-huh.
So you're heading over to where Erdit had previously surfaced from
Yeah.
the sewers.
Yes,
Okay.
indeed.
Did someone have a motorcycle go past then, or was
Yeah.
that a weirdity of the sound effects I've got running?
No, that was me being on Northdown Road here and it being a
I
bit
wasn't sure if
noisy.
that was a motorcycle or the horde horn from Vermintide.
Yes, suddenly the plot goes all to cock because 6,000
I think there's a rat's turn up.
rats turn up.
Yep, well, I mean, this is Warhammer.
They're true. Okay, so you get to said area of the old quarter, and I'd like a divination roll, please, Erdit.
Indeed, I shall. Since the trail has gone dead here, most likely scent-wise.
Can we not use word dead when we're talking about this, please?
Where is divination?
We'll stick with cold. Cold is better.
It's intelligence with, I think, a +10 modifier.
Righto, there is just a divination thing. Can I just drag that? No, I can't. Well, that's wonderful. Let's roll some intelligence.
Strike to injure.
So yes, I am going to take out my my ferrets. I shall. This is not compass, of course, since compass is far too valuable for that. I'll give it a light stroke on the head,
Oh,
treat
God.
it to a final meal, and proceed to take my knife to its stomach and throw the blood across the floor and see which direction it splatters in.
This was all the joke up until this point. I feel horrible about this.
And I shall mark off a ferret.
Oh God!
Oh, dear, dear, dear.
He's tracking his ferrets more accurately than people are tracking their ammo.
This ferret will probably do for a few more throws before I need to use
Oh God! He's gonna bring out a ferret.
So you incant the sacred phrase. Your blade traces its way across the underbelly of this cute little creature.
Ferrets aren't cute, they're vicious.
You
One does not
scatter
negate the other.
blood and part of its intestines asunder.
God.
And as you open your eyes to look at where the direction guides you, it's that way.
Fantastic.
Um,
This way, guys.
Literally, it appears to be pointing you more or less down the main I say main road, the wider back alley is probably more appropriate for the old quarter. However, whilst this has been going on, this has garnered some attention from the locals.
If you just turned up and slaughtered a ferret in the middle of the street, I think it would.
What are you two doing while Erdit is doing his divination? It takes him a couple of minutes to do it all in
Banging our
proper
heads
ritual.
against a wall in despair.
At different heights, so at least it's consistent. I'm wondering, actually, if there was the possibility of you doing this in a slightly more ferret-friendly manner. Could you not simply give them a big drink?
Click.
No. Then scare them and follow the course of the stream. Obviously this requires you to say boo to a ferret.
I mean, don't you think that's a little inhumane?
So while Erdit is doing his rituals,
Sorry. Okay.
there are comments of, what's he doing? Oh God, that's no.
I bet there's at least one person going, that's a good waste of ferret.
Yep, Brunhilde is, because it does seem like a horrible waste of a ferret to her, Brunhilde is sitting mentally trying to figure out a decent recipe to use with one gutted ferret.
I'm going to pay attention to the crowd because I really don't want to watch what he's doing to that ferret. And
Okay.
I'm actually quite serious about suggesting he use alternate methods. And I'm going to watch the crowd and the general environs for people who are looking at us but not looking at the ferret.
Okay. Intelligence roll, please.
Oh God.
Modified by any search or spot skills or observation skills.
Okay, excellent vision doesn't do anything, does it?
That just increases how far you can see in the
That's
dark and
it.
all that lovely stuff.
So yeah,
Just
just
is
straight intelligence. Oh, okay. Oh, sod it. Damn. Got all excited then and then remembered how Fantasy Grounds does that weirdy thing with tens.
So the singles. Oh no, it's not the singles always dispersed because there's a few. No, I'm pretty sure.
It's 40-10.
It's 40-10, yeah.
Yes, you rolled 4,010, which is unfortunately higher than your intelligence.
Yeah, it's unfortunately that widget way of doing it.
Well, if it had been the other way around, 40 would still have been too high.
Yeah.
It would, yeah. But I was hoping for bonuses.
Ah.
Because let's face it, a gutted ferret on the floor is quite a distraction from your average pleb. So
Oh, the
somebody
whole
who's
ferret's not on the floor.
Well, there's certainly a fair array of people looking. One or two that you suspect may well be part of Gaetano's. They may be his associates, shall we say? But no one that seems to be paying undue attention to, say, you or Brunhilde, rather than.
Question
the
here is: can Brunhilde resist the temptation of a crowd already paying attention?
There's a crowd, you see.
Yeah, you realise if you use the whole ferret, you're kind of scuppered whenever you hit a corner.
Are we getting into an alternative version of that definition of kinky
Erotic
versus perverted?
kinky. Yeah.
Perverted is using the whole ferret.
I think Brunhilde and the crowd, that's a mixture made in heaven
Or hell, depending on your
that
perspective.
probably requires a willpower check.
You reckon?
And-
Let's
if-
make a
if you
willpower
deem
check.
it so
then.
suitable, Fish,
Let's
go
make
ahead.
a willpower check. Willpower's not great. Willpower's not 52.
So what pamphlets have you got on you at the moment?
Oh, she's short on pamphlets, so she can get some more printed. She can't be giving out pamphlets. She
Just
can
on
wave
the
them,
rotary.
though. So I think,
So-
yes, she will be pulling out her copy of All the World's Ills. You see, the world we live in now, what sane society drives a man to the point where he starts gutting ferrets in street? It's not normal. It's not sane. But look at him. Society doesn't care for this man. It doesn't help him in any way. It just drives him to this kind of behaviour. And why? Because the aristocrats are only interested in their own well-being and their money and what they can get out of us. And she sort of goes on in that vein for a while.
To take a step back into the crowd,
Okay.
and look around covertly
Okay. Go for it.
and see if anyone's got the wrong reactions.
Then let's have another look.
Would the wrong reaction be
Oh, for
actually
the
listening
love of God! I'm going to swap back to
control?
real dice. I tell you, because I'm starting to get really hacked off
So
here.
what does the public speaking skill actually give me?
So, Fish, what is Brunhilde's objective in this, other than to speak at the crowd?
That's it, really. Her objective is just to use this opportunity, because she hasn't done it for a while, to convince a few people that the aristos are bad and we need a popular uprising to get rid of them all, and maybe introduce a democracy.
Okay, do you have any sort of oratory skills that you'd care to roll on to see how we do?
Well, I was just looking at public speaking, which she has.
Sounds like a good one.
This is represented by the normal bluff and gossip rules, but they should be applied to far more people than normal. Number up to the speaker's leadership characteristics should be maximum, so up to 27 people, which is probably quite adequate.
Yeah, there's not that many in the crowd. You haven't aroused
Games
that much
Master
of-
can make an appropriate test for audience reaction, applying modifiers for the nature of the bluff or gossip attempt and for the mood of the crowd, and should always be aware that once the crowd disperses, they will have time to think about what they may have heard, and the doubts may creep in.
Well, I've already made the roll for the crowd.
So
Let's see your
thinking
roll.
possibly this would be a gossip test, because she's not bluffing them, is she? She believes what
No,
she's saying.
Gossiping.
So it's going to be a fellowship test either way. It's going to be a successful
Wow.
fellowship test. 28 out of 50.
Wow. Awesome sauce.
She's pretty good at fellowship.
Yeah.
As soon as I get some experience points, though, she's going to be better at it.
Yeah.
Yes, I'm taking that plus 10 at the first opportunity. I want a 60 fellowship agitator.
How?
So as this goes on, while the poor ferret is being used for divination purposes, Brunhilde is speaking at the crowd, and the crowd are responding. They're saying, yeah, that's right, yeah, yeah, and there's sort of fist waving and.
According to this, on a gossip test, in addition to local news, the character can try to get answers to up to D6 specific questions. Now, she wasn't really going into this with specific questions in mind, but I'm wondering on the local news front, not connected to this scenario in any way, whether she might get the crowd possibly yelling out the names of a few people who they think definitely are evil aristotypes who are putting down the
You're in
common
Middenheim.
men.
That's basically the Graf and his circle of.
Yeah. So
What are the odds for Brunhilde to be able to link the sacrifice of a ferret to the potential sacrifice of a child?
if someone had actually suggested this to her before she'd started, pretty good. But since she didn't think of it at the time,
One thing for next time.
Just wondering about sidling up to you and whispering in your ear.
shh. Brunhilde is talking, not listening.
Well, there is
Sorry,
the
Luke,
character.
you don't understand how this works.
That is the character writ large,
That is rather,
Well.
isn't it?
so to speak.
Yes. Medium-sized.
Bit small.
There it is. Okay, so Lenore,
Okay.
while you're looking at everything that's going on, you register the various people that are responding positively to Brunhilde's orations. There is one woman in the I won't say crowd, but the
Yeah.
area
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't seem to be either negatively or positively affected by anything that Brunhilde's saying. Doesn't even appear to be paying attention to Brunhilde, but is looking at you.
Uh-huh.
She's about 5'8", lightly tanned skin, kind of olive-ish complexion, athletic looking,
Okay.
fairly slender.
Is she someone that I saw around Repetti's?
Nope.
Does she look the right ethnic stock for Repetti's lot?
Yes.
But that's the area of town we're in, isn't it?
It is,
There's
yeah. I just wanted to make sure
Just kind
because I
of-
wasn't certain.
Little Estalia.
Okay. Hmm.
The Estalians are more Spanish, aren't they?
Yes, Tilia, not
Yeah.
Estalia. Sorry, wrong one.
Just want to make sure that I hadn't suddenly been setting it up the wrong way around using
that was
the wrong-
entirely my fault.
Is Brunhilde still in full flow?
Probably.
At this point,
Yes.
In that case, I'm going to murmur to Erdith. What's her hair colour? It's brown, isn't it?
dark. It's either black or brown. It's dark.
Do you see the lady over there? The one who isn't either laughing or cheering.
Oh, I see.
Have you seen her around?
It's not when you recognise her, no.
Do your ferrets know anything about her?
I can get another one out the back.
No, that's all right. Tell you what, how about you sort of cycle round to the right? And I'll do so to the left, and perhaps we can have a chat with her.
I mean, you realise if we wait too long, this thing's going to go stiff and we're not going to find our way anywhere.
Can I actually bend the rules slightly?
That depends on what you want to do and how you intend to try and do it.
Well, public speaking is not in the list of approved skills for this. But given it's what we've established as the character background and almost even the background for the group being together, can I make a busk check to gather funds for the revolution?
Yes, and the revolution starts by paying our bar tab.
Well, yes, absolutely.
Well, you can make a busk check, but you get no busking modifiers for it.
I thought the bar tab was why we were saving the guy's daughter.
Yeah, but if we don't save the guy's daughter, then we'll have to pay up.
So,
And the number of baths we're going to have to buy for Leonard is going to go up exponentially.
busking is a fellowship check once per hour for D4 plus 1 gold crowns in case of a success. So,
Oh, wow.
I don't know whether you, because this isn't going to be a full hour, so I don't know whether you might want to
No.
modify the amount.
It is a reasonable crowd, though.
But
Yeah, it's not a massive crowd, but
The warm-up act was you.
but she's failed her fellowship check anyway. So
Oh,
at the end of
not much.
her little rant, when she passes around the hat, nobody puts anything in it. Obviously,
Well,
they're
you know,
quite
you
willing
can
to-
that's not enough for anyone to drop anything unpleasant in it.
they're quite willing to shout and jeer and say "down with the aristos," but paying for it? No, we're not doing that.
Exactly, yeah, pretty much.
Okay.
But you do now have a direction to head off in. And as you head off in said direction, Lenore and Erdit, who both are now aware of this person, see two things. One, Ivan walking from the direction that you happen to be heading.
Hello.
Two, this person spotting Ivan and disappearing.
Crowd's broken up now, yeah?
Crowd is breaking up.
Brunhilde,
Aye.
you were being watched. Well, I was being watched. One of us was being watched.
Well,
And I
don't
know
know
I don't
whether
need
you've
any more
noticed what I
audience.
do.
Shut up.
Sorry,
Also, Ivan.
what's Ivan doing here?
Sorry, Ivan.
Ivan doing here?
My bad.
Scaring off the woman that was watching me. She just pulled a fade.
You can't be sure that Yvonne saw her, but she definitely
She
clocked
definitely
him.
saw him.
He's a big lad. Maybe she's just scared.
Yeah. Sometimes a ferret's just a ferret. Yeah, I know. However, she seems to know something. I think we need to follow her.
Lay on, McLenor.
Okay. I'm not the easiest person to do stealth.
Aye, well, you do have some disadvantages in that particular field. But I don't know who we're following.
No. I can give you
What
a
about
description.
pointy ears there? Did he see her?
Yes, he did.
Well, there you go.
Well,
Your people are supposed to be stealthy, aren't you?
He just gutted a ferret on the pavement.
When they're not doing that.
I mean, it's perfectly normal where I come from. I mean, look, we could... Do we want to follow her, or do we want to follow the path? Because I need to know what I'm doing with the rest of this.
Okay. Which direction does the ferret point? Sentence I did not think I was going to say today.
While you guys are discussing this, there's this big booming voice. Hello, my friend.
Oh, shit.
As Ivan starts diverting from wherever he was headed into your direction.
Oh.
Hello, Ivan.
Big, beefy hand waved and outstretched at you. Hello.
Nice to
Hi.
see you. Fancy seeing you round here. You're not by any chance here because you know there's a fight on locally, do you? Go on, get her in if you do. She's dying to have a fight. Go on. Give it a shot.
Yeah, dying for a fight, me. Edith, that thing we were just talking about, why don't you go do that?
Righto, and I shall hand you the ferret and continue.
Well, I don't think there's much I can do with just one. There's not a lot of it, but
Yes, for
Would that be a...
how you say stew? No.
well, you'd need several for a stew, really.
Don't give him ideas.
You have more.
Maybe I could make some sort of dip. It needs a sort, because it's going to need something, isn't it? One ferret's not enough. We'll need more than that. It's quite a small ferret as well. It's not one of his bigger ones.
Yvonne,
So
is
no,
there
I
any
used
chance
them.
of a battle to near death where I can get beaten into unconsciousness?
going to need something with it. Maybe some potatoes, carrots. But
where
yeah,
would
I
that
think you
be?
could be right, Ivan. A stew might be the best bet. It'd be a bit watery. There's not a lot of this, and they're quite stringy and all. But if you cooked it long enough, it could be quite nice.
Excuse me, just one moment.
Further up the road.
Brunhilde's jaw and head.
Leans down very close to your ear. Look at the bloody tusk.
Glance down at the blood on the bloody tusk.
It's a ferret. Oh, gotcha.
Yes.
Is that a barb, a code word, or something really unfortunate in the marketplace?
It's tavern.
You're a good friend, Ivan. I hope to see
Right.
you and Lenore go at it in... No, that's not what I meant.
So do I take it this is one of those unsanctioned, unofficial fights, yeah?
What, the ones
Yes.
you've been looking for?
Yeah.
That's why I
Sounds like.
Excellent. Great. So, Brunhilde, are you coming with me, or are you going with...
Well, of course. I mean, you can hardly go without your manager, can you?
This is true.
I should probably find out how quietly I've vanished.
You should.
Ooh.
Now, which way were you going? Were you following? Which trail were you following? Were you following the woman who disappeared, or were you following the original trail to try and track the girl?
I was following the woman, which is why I left the ferret with the others, so they could
Okay.
continue following that path.
Right.
You know, they just need to throw a few guts out every corner.
We don't do divination.
They don't have the divination skill, so
Yep.
Oh no,
We're
of course
just-
not. But
I'm just going to cook the ferret. That's basically all that's going to happen with that.
So, would you care to
The cook
make
skill
your
I have.
stealth type rolls then, please, Kiki?
I'm presuming it's just dexterity.
Right, stealth in this
Stealth
game
is-
is a base 30% plus
Yeah.
any bonuses for things like concealment or silent move skills,
Then,
which would need to be concealment and silent move urban specifically.
Then it would just be this appallingly. Yeah, that's
Oh,
clearly the ferrets are not the quietest thing to lug around when pursuing someone stealthily.
We just killed Peter the ferret.
Now, can you also please make me an intelligence check, Kiki?
Of course. That is another fail.
Okay. So,
I don't think this game likes us very much.
apparently not today, no.
I think this game likes ferrets.
So, not only are people looking at you, trying to work out why you're sidling up against walls and being very weird looking at corners, you've completely lost track of where this woman went.
Oh god. I thought the whole elf thing was you could fade into the background and move silently and
Elves are
spot
urban
things.
beings. This is a city. It's rural. No, other way around. Elves are rural beings. This is a city. It's urban.
Oh dear.
Ferrets.
Master of disguise.
It's like asking a fish to swim up the high street.
It depends on global warming, to be honest.
There have been several high streets that fish could swim up recently.
This is true. Yes.
Yes. Well, that depends upon the fact that fish can't swim.
Oh no, can you swim, fish?
No.
Okay, fair enough.
On the other hand, 6'3" just walks.
Oh, damn.
I've seen him in a swimming pool. Can testify.
Fair enough.
Cheating.
So, having failed to A, track the person you intended to track, and B, apparently you're drawing more attention than you are hiding, what is Erdit's next move?
The question is, do I know at this point, having just been following someone while trying to be incredibly stealthy, where I am?
Ooh.
You're
That's
in
a-
Middenheim.
You're in a room.
Because I'd want to ascertain where I lost them, but for
Right.
that I'd need to ascertain where I am.
Okay, Kiki, would you roll me a d12, please?
Certainly.
You need compass now.
Let's. Okay, so you've basically gone slightly southwest of where you started.
Right.
So you've lit from where this arrow that we were at is. You've literally headed sort of towards the wall, and you get to this big open space. Let's mark it out. No, that. You get kind of there, and wait a minute, this is wrong. I took a wrong turn somewhere. You know where you are, but you've got no idea where you lost them, because you thought you were following them, but they've gone.
Turned out I was following a different person in a dark hooded robe.
A different dark-haired woman
Yes.
of about average height. Yeah.
Don't trip over another subplot. We've got enough as it is.
Well,
we'll leave the side quests for a bit.
Yeah, I shan't continue pursuing them. That seems
Okay.
a foolish endeavour. I shall make my way back to the place I left my my markings.
Okay. Which was back, roughly back here.
We'll probably follow the trail of spirit drippings as Brunhilde shakes it off, puts it in her pouch.
Oh wow! Inadvertently giving me more divination points to follow.
So meanwhile, Brunhilde and Lenore presumably are following directions to the Bloody Tusk.
Yeah,
Oh.
I'll ask Ivan, are you not coming?
I
Not
have
your
been.
thing. You've been. You had a fight.
I had
You engaged in culturally
Audition?
appropriate activity.
An audition.
Stuff.
I've never had to audition for an unofficial fight before. Okay.
Oh, I think you always audition for an unofficial fight. The audition normally consists of walking through an area of town that you shouldn't be in after dark, carrying something that looks valuable.
Fair enough.
I mean, you are carrying some raw fur there.
What you do is you walk down a dark alley in the wrong part of town, swaggering rather exaggeratedly and holding your sword in completely the wrong grip. Your expensive looking sword in completely the wrong grip. And then only when somebody attacks you do you shift it into the grip you can actually fight with.
This is true. So you reckon I ought to wander around with my sword strapped to my back then?
That would do, yeah.
Pretend you're a witcher.
Yep. I still want one of those neodymium strips down the back of a fencing jacket.
Yeah.
They're cool.
Don't
Okay.
put too much neodymium in, otherwise you'll never get the sword up.
I can only assume they balanced it against the strength of the zip.
Yes.
Because otherwise it's just okay.
I was wearing a jacket a moment ago. What happened?
Okay. So yes, Lenore is going to apparently restart Steam. What?
Excuse me, pardon what?
Steam updated decided it
Ah.
wanted my full attention. Oddly. Right, yes, Lenore is going to square her shoulders. Hang on, how do we want to do this? Do I want to look menacing or do I want to look like fresh meat?
Both.
Yeah, you need a touch of both, because if you look too menacing, no one will want to fight you. But if you look too much like fresh meat, no one will want to fight you.
You've got some cosmetics, haven't you?
No.
I thought you had some.
No, why would I have cosmetics? Do I look like some namby-pamby southern halfling that wears cosmetics?
Southern halflings wear eyeliner. That is now headcanon.
That's absolutely... No, you see, you don't want to go to southern moot because they're pathetic down there.
So prophetic did that.
No, that's apparently ferrets.
He's actually breeding them to be really bad at divination because all the good ones get killed first. I can just see a tentacle over your shoulder, Fish.
Yeah, she's being a pain in the arse, aren't you? He has this mad idea that he needs to be fed again because it's been at least 20 minutes.
Ah.
It keeps appearing
I
over
suppose
your
it has
shoulder.
actually been almost 2 hours since he last ate, so, I mean, obviously that's far too long.
Cat. Okay. So.
Are you following the directions to the
Yes.
tavern?
Yes,
Okay.
we will go to the tavern.
we are following the directions to the tavern.
Mark off where
Just-
the tavern is, which is that building there.
Weapon skill 49. Bets I still roll shittily. Okay.
Now, while Brunhilde and Lenore are heading to the Bloody Tusk, are you following the trails of blood left by Brunhilde as she tries to A, not drip ferret blood everywhere, but also B, try and clean it off her hands, or are you doing something very, very different with it?
I'm going to follow my route back to the other guys, having realised that I've lost track of this person.
Okie dokie.
Perhaps they have been recasting the directions upon the ground so that they may further find things in my absence.
Like we're putting it.
Yeah.
Okay. Uh-huh.
As you enter the Bloody Tusk, it's very much one of those Wild West moments. You step through the door, and whoever was playing their instrument stops, which means all the talking then stops as everyone turns to look at the door.
I shall ignore the fact that
silence.
everyone is turned to look at us and just march straight up to the bar, waving my ferret.
Not your cat, as you found you're doing.
Apparently, my ferret is still alive and being a pest.
Pippin, how does it feel to be an ersatz ferret?
Okay, what do you think?
He just gave Fishy a dirty look.
I need use of somebody's cook pot. I wonder what it would cost to make use of thine.
The guy behind the bar is a.
It's a code phrase.
I suppose you
told me.
probably describe him as being slightly thuggish looking.
Oh, good.
He's got the look of an ex-fighter about him. If you think of a middle-aged retired boxer, you're probably not too far off.
Mm-hmm.
Cauliflower ear, nose that's been broken at least 2 or 3 times, a couple of facial scars.
Someone who
But
doesn't
Hilda
have
will
dodgy
look him
blood.
up and down and say, obviously you're going to be no use to me at all. I'll need to speak to your cook.
You think we've got one?
Have you not?
I did a cooking here.
In that case, I can be of use to you instead. Slams the ferret down on the bar in front of her.
What?
I have come into possession of this prime meat which needs to be cooked and eaten as soon as possible because I haven't had breakfast yet.
And why would I let you do that? This is my gaff. You've just stormed in, made a hell of a lot of noise, interrupted my clientele with a dead ferret.
Well done. You have successfully and correctly established the situation. I have got a ferret, and you have got a gaff. So, this is very simple. If you were listening properly earlier, you'd have noticed that I asked the words, how much? Indicating that I was willing to pay you for the use of your cooking equipment, and
Well
maybe
done.
some ingredients as well. For how much did you just say?
5.
Okay, I'll give you a new deal. I'll pay you 5 gold to let me cook this ferret if you can beat her. Otherwise, I do it for free.
I'm doing my very best deer in the headlights eyes.
Oh, come on, love. I know you're a fighter.
It sounds awfully good fun.
I guarantee she fights better than she fakes.
I'll give you a different deal.
Mhm.
1 gold. You can use a stove in the pot. You looking for work?
I'm looking for activity. Yes.
Come here.
Mm-hmm. She will head over there. And yeah, she's given up on the puppy eyes. Lenora's not designed to do puppy eyes.
Is your sword in hand or slung or?
No, my sword is slung at the. No, my sword is currently in its scabbard being carried because carrying it on my back is bloody stupid. But no, it's in hand and wrapped.
Erdic's
in a
coming
carry
through the
position.
door pretty much as this conversation is happening, having had to follow and catch up. So
Yeah.
Erdic's coming through at this point. You can use that thing.
Last I checked, yes.
Draw it out. Show me your stats.
Okay, I'll unhook the strap and draw
On
the
behalf
sword.
of my client, I would like to point out that any such demonstration, without...
Shut up and get to the kitchen if you want to use it. I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to.
I don't much like your attitude, young man.
I don't much like yours. You came in demanding that I rent you my kitchen. Either get in there and use it, and let me talk to this fighter here, or just shut the hell up.
Lucky for you, I'm hungry.
It's okay, yeah, Brunhilde. We can sort out wages later. Okay, yeah, I will put. I'm not going to do anything so gauche as toss my scabbard down on the floor because that's stupid. I am going to put it very carefully on the table and adopt a ready stance. It's a two-handed longsword, isn't it?
Well, it's a bit bigger, but yeah.
Yeah. How high are the ceilings?
High enough to swing a sword.
Okay. In that case, she will adopt a ready stance at her shoulder with the sword facing forwards. Yeah, I've seen Nika and Jason running through this.
Yeah.
It's Montante stance.
He looks you up and down.
Yeah, it's not designed for Von type.
No.
This is designed to empty this fucking bar if it kicks off.
Yeah.
All right.
Very much.
So you know how to hold her.
Mm-hmm. Anything
You?
else you'd like me to do?
Follow me. Just you.
Just me, huh?
Like your friends.
Ah. Okay.
He crouches down behind the bar, and you hear a latch undone, and then a creaking of a door.
Okay.
Come round.
I shall grab my scabbard. I won't resheath my sword, however. That'll just go over the shoulder. But I will carry my scabbard in the other hand.
As you go round behind the bar, you see that he's basically opened up a trapdoor with stairs leading down, presumably to the beer cellar.
Okay.
As you follow him downstairs, the beer cellar is much bigger than you might have anticipated for a beer cellar, and indeed has a very minimal amount of kegs of ale.
We're in the hound pits. Excellent.
What
Okay.
it does have is a very large circle in the middle of it that is marked out quite nicely.
Well, will you look at that then?
In the middle of said circle is, on a very wide base, a human-sized training dummy.
Okay. Not actually needed to kill anybody just yet. I've got with me my knife and my knuckle dusters in addition to my two-hander. I haven't got my one-handed sword.
Okay.
I figure it's
Now,
either going to
presumably
be...
You're not going to see the knife or the knuckle duster because...
the knife is going to be open, the knuckle duster not so much.
So what weapons can you use, love?
Most of them. Can't everybody?
Well, let's start with something smaller than that, because these things are expensive. I don't want it wrecked just yet.
What can I do for you then?
He walks up to the far end and effectively opens up a large closet, which has an array of weapons, two of just about anything you could possibly want.
Okay.
Without any exotics. You know, there's swords, maces, flails.
Okay, I'll resheath my two-hander, lay it down somewhere safe and out of the way, and head over and cast a perusing eye. Probably start with a standard sword, I think. Standard
Okay, so
one-hander.
there's two of everything, and each is a pair,
Mm-hmm.
so they are matched.
Okay.
Logically,
I'm assuming that's down to not giving anyone an advantage of weaponry.
that's a reasonable assumption.
Okay.
So if you pick up a one-handed sword,
Mm-hmm.
it's not a brilliant balance, but it's certainly passable for use and practice.
Okay. I'll give it a spin and check the balance, where the balance point is, that sort of thing.
It's a little more blade heavy than you might like.
Mm-hmm. So it'll go fast. Okay. Right. And you'd like me to hit it?
Show me what you can do.
Okay.
So the dummy itself has a very wide base. It has it's built to look like a human. It's got arms.
Yeah.
It's got legs, head with various painted colours on it.
Okay. I take it this is not one of those that's designed to respond to my hits. So it's not, if I hit one side, it's going to thump me with whatever it's got in the other hand.
Oh, it could well.
Okay. In that case, I'm going to open with a series of 4 strokes. Over a hand, left and right, and then up from under. Ditto.
Okay.
Basically, Oberhowl, then Unterhowl.
So, make me a weapon skill roll, please.
Okay. Please, don't fuck it. Just once this evening. Oh, yay! Thank God for that.
So
It's
you
not
make
too-
a series of 4 strokes,
Mhm.
successfully striking, parrying, as the dummy does indeed react to where and how you've hit it.
Okay, so yes, it's going to be a strike to their left collarbone position, and then a block to the responding
Yeah.
blow, and then reverse. Basically, Oberhowl, plow, Unterhowl, probably ox.
See, as soon as you go into the technical terms, you lose me. Don't forget, I only did one
Yes,
lesson.
yeah, I know. Sorry. Overhand. Plow is the block where your hands are low and the sword is high. Ox, hands high, sword low. Catches anything coming up from under. So yeah, she'll run through that. It's probably just one of her training drills to see how the dummy responds, how fast it is, how loose it is.
Nice, very formal. How good does formal do you in a non-standard bout?
Define non-standard. Up against somebody who doesn't know what they're doing, or somebody
Doesn't
with no
follow
real
the
training.
rules.
Oh. They'll follow
30
their
formal
rules.
classes would be right.
Oh gosh. Well, I find them quite sweet, to be honest.
Show me what you do. Step it
Okay.
up a little.
Okay. Right. Okay. In that case, she is going to advance. Probably it's going to confuse him slightly because it's going to get tighter. Instead of hitting harder, she's going to maintain her distance and incorporate a couple of thrusts. So it's going to be combination strikes now. So it's going to be things like a block and strike in one, that sort of thing. Aimed primarily at the head or the neck of the dummy. And occasionally she will step in and engage the pommel. So it's
Okay.
basically cut, pommel to the face,
All right.
while catching the responding limb before it can attack.
Do me
Oh,
another
that's
roll.
not good. I'm sure it's not supposed to show us the GM secret rolls.
I don't necessarily know that was a secret one. It doesn't really
Okay.
matter.
Okay, so that's a fail on my part, but it's not fail
Not
by
much of a
much.
fail on their part.
I was going to say, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, whilst it's not actively making attacks, because it is responding to what you're doing, there is an attack roll involved as far as
Yeah.
I'm concerned.
Yeah, no problem.
And it just completely.
Mhm. Yeah.
And there's possibly a jam in the mechanism. It didn't move as it should at
Yeah,
that point.
yeah. But yes, basically, when required to deal with someone who's a little bit wilder and not following the rules, her style is actually going to get tighter, and very much between her shoulders. So there's going to be no wild strikes. Everything's going to be faster.
Cool.
Shortest distance between 2 points.
All right, love.
It's not going around the houses.
You've impressed me.
Impressed you enough to get a fight.
As it happens, yeah.
Handy.
How are you fixed for tonight?
Well, If she's finished cooking ferret, we can talk to my manager about it.
Wait, that halfling's genuinely your manager.
Oh, she's very good with her tongue.
I did not need to know that.
But otherwise, yes, I'm certainly unoccupied at the moment. What did you have in mind, and how many am I facing?
Well, it's your first fight, so good against the training dummy is one thing. Good against the person, that's different.
He's quoting Star Wars at me. Make him stop.
Oh, come on, I couldn't resist it.
Yeah.
So for tonight, you've got one opponent.
Fair
You've
enough.
got 3 fights on tonight. I'm not putting you top of the bill because I don't know you. So you're on second fight.
All right. That seems perfectly reasonable.
Beer, 7 o'clock.
Uh-huh. Okay.
And if your manager or your other friend wants to come, that's fine. There will be wages around if anyone is so inclined.
Good.
We do run a book here. We don't play by the city rules because city rules say no fights. So this
Where's the
conversation
fun in
never
that?
happened. Tonight's fight is not happening. I'm sure you understand.
Absolutely. We'll simply be coming back to drink in your fine establishment.
Exactly.
Excellent. Right. Okay. I am going to grab my two-hander. And
personal weapons don't get used. House weapons only. Keeps it fair.
a very clean way of doing business.
Well, I did run legit fights as well.
Oh, did you now?
So a lot of what I did then, I do now. We just don't worry so much about the rules. Let's face it, we're in the old court. The city watch ain't gonna come.
So, if you were to fight with a sword and mangosh, would that legitimately be a house double?
Owlfish.
When you come back, by the way, you will find Brunhilde perched at the end of one of the tables, eating some sort of ferret casserole and talking to the people there about how corrupt the watch are.
Yeah,
Seemed a more suitable topic of conversation.
This had come in not long after you guys, so is possibly aware that you've just gone to cook his ferret.
Yep, well, that's his problem. Or the ferrets, depending on how you look at it.
I
Well,
don't think the ferret has many problems anymore.
Honestly, I
is-
don't think the ferret's going to care.
there is no point in wasting it at this point. I feel
Absolutely.
like should you be willing to share in your meal, I will probably join you with an ale.
Well, you don't get a lot out of one ferret, but I'm sure I can spare some, yeah.
It's all about food this evening. Okay.
There'd obviously be more to go round if you could provide me with a bigger ferret next time.
I mean, they don't tend to last too long.
Uh,
You see, they get big, they get slow, and if they get slow, then the other one's eaten.
So for those of you that, those of you, for Erdit and Brunhilde, after Lenore was taken downstairs, pretty much everyone in the tavern went back to what they were doing. No one seems perturbed by the fact that there's no one behind the bar or looking after the place.
yeah, fairly sure that's quite normal in this place.
Yeah.
And in my channel, the Stay Healthy bot has just noticed that we've been live for a couple of hours, which means we've been sat here for a couple of hours. I propose a quick break, stretch legs, comfort break if needed, refill your drinks,
Yeah.
and I would suggest folks in chat do the same. If you've been here watching us for that time, we'll be back in 5 minutes. Don't get yourself a deep vein thrombosis, stretch your legs, move around a bit, have a drink.
Oh, I just
And
got up
we'll
and
see.
fed the cat, so
Ah,
if anybody has any questions, I shall remain here and can potentially answer. Probably
shall
the
be
answer
back.
will be, I don't know. But
I should be back in a couple
can
of
at
minutes
least
after
give you
stretching
that.
the legs.
Yeah. Okay. BRB.
just a reminder for anybody who may not already know, this is Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay First Edition that we are playing. Yeah. There are now 4 editions of this game, or have been 4 editions of this game. Second edition was an advancement on this edition, cleaned things up a bit, gave it a nice snazzy set of artwork and new books, and was generally very well received, although I never played it. Third edition was a completely different game, published by Fantasy Flight Games, which was a bit of a weirdy, kind of halfway between a board and card game and a role-playing game. A lot of people liked it, a lot of other people didn't. The core of that system was later rehashed, and they're still using it as the core system for their Star Wars RPG, and I believe now as a generic game system using that system. It's the core thing was based around Funky Dice, because they were are a board games company, so they have the facility to make Funky Dice. So Funky Dice and cards to play the game with was the key things I remember from 3rd edition Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay. 4th edition, however, it's gone to, I believe, Cubicle 7, who have released a new edition, which again is going back to the classic style of play. So it's a new edition based on roughly these rules, or the 2nd edition rules. And it seems to be receiving quite good reviews so far, but none of us have it. We do have a lot of material for 1st edition, which we were playing back in the day. Certainly Nightbites and I played it when it was just Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, when there were no other editions. And thus, a bit of nostalgia going back and playing it again. So no questions? Fair enough. I've run out of things to say now. It's your own fault for not asking me questions. Okay then, so something else I can talk about. We're playing this game using the Fantasy Grounds 2, technically, virtual tabletop. I just swap scenes here, and see whether I can just quickly bring up Fantasy Grounds as the only thing we're seeing. The answer apparently is no. Why did that not work? Okay, let's try something different then. Let's just add in the existing Fantasy Grounds capture from the other game. There we go. There we go. So there we go. That is Fantasy Grounds. It is a rather good virtual tabletop. It provides us with the kind of stuff that we need to be able to play a role-playing game without being in the same room. So we can have maps which are displayed, some images which can be displayed, whether maps or otherwise, by the GM to give us an idea of what we're doing. In this case we've got a nice map here of Middenheim, City of the White Wolf, we can zoom in on and move around, and as you can see, draw little pointers on to show us where things are. We've got our character sheets, so there we go. There's Brunhilde Southgarden, the halfling agitator. All of the irrelevant information that we need to play based on that character is here.
Irrelevant information.
All of the irrelevant information that there's no bearing on, that has no bearing on anything yet.
And for those that want a better idea of what Brunhilde looks like, if I share this,
Yes, apologies to people on the other streams who aren't seeing this full-on big version of Fantasy Grounds that I'm showing at the moment. But yay, there is indeed Brunhilde. That illustration was created using the character artist for Campaign Cartographer 3 from Pro Fantasy Games. And I must admit, I'm quite happy with it. Character artist lets you create some quite good illustrations quite quickly. It's not the cheapest thing in the world, but it does do the job.
I'm currently messing with Epic. I think we decided it was called, didn't we?
Possibly they want us to pronounce it epic, I'm not sure, but it's...
Which lets me create things like this. I share this. An idea of what Igor looks like. Not Ivan, but Igor, the chap that Erdit bumped into.
Yeah.
Ah, yes. Great hulk of a man.
Yes.
Yes. Now, Igor is slightly bigger than my screen, so I'm going
Apologies for that.
need to shrink him down a bit, which is easily enough done through the wonders of Fantasy Grounds.
I don't recall if I described him as a hulk of a man or a burly chap.
Both are appropriate.
I was going to say that down in the bottom left corner here on Fantasy Grounds we have got some dice, which are proper 3D rendered dice, which you can roll. If you roll them in chat, it will report in chat what the result is. If you roll them anywhere else on the table, they will still roll, and you can just read the die to get a result, but it won't be reported anywhere. So you can just roll dice for your own amusement or interest. If, for example, you are the GM and you just want to make a quick roll on a die and not tell people, you can either have it set to not show the result, or you can just roll it somewhere else on the tabletop and read it off for yourself.
Just out of interest, did that GM roll I did just now as Fishy was talking register anything for you guys?
Nope, I saw a shadow that you were rolling something, but I didn't get a result in chat.
Yeah.
Yeah, this
that one,
symbol here is the
see
dice
those
tower.
dice?
I can do the same thing here. I can drop a die into the dice tower, and it will roll it, and I don't even see what the result is there. I think only the GM sees that.
That was a 19, by the way, Fish. Congratulations.
Oh, right, there you go. You can also roll custom dice and multiples of dice. You can pick up a die and then click to add more of them and roll a whole pool. Or you can right click on a die and it will give you an option for various numbers, or for custom dice. The D6 is used for custom dice, and at the moment the only thing we've got available is I can roll a D3 with it.
I've lost track of the dice tower.
It's the Chaos Star
there we
symbol
go.
next to the dice.
Yeah.
In most Fantasy Grounds desktops, the dice tower is actually over on the right hand side of the screen, but on this one they've put it next to the dice.
Yeah, that's why I was having a moment there.
Yeah, it took me a while to work out what it was until I actually had the mouse just resting over it. Where you get the mouse over dice tower.
Being A, that I'm a player, and B, that this is quite a streamlined set, I don't have a lot of buttons down the right hand side, which I normally would have more of. I've got a button for notes, which I'm using to keep track of things like I'm making notes on the plot. I've got some notes on the Grey Lord Inn. These notes are available to me and they're stored within the database in this campaign, but I can, if I want to, share them with other people. So if I want to share the Grey Lord Inn notes that I've made with Drat, for example, I can drop that to Lenore's character up in the top left, and that should have now shared that note with you.
Yep, I've got 2 new notes showing. Giacomo Gianchi, that was the scholar.
Yeah, Giacomo was the scholar.
Yeah.
Yep. Cool.
Now, the GM can also share these things by a more direct route. He can just share them to everybody, or indeed to just individual people by dropping them on the character icon up in the top there. That ability to drag and drop like that is particularly useful because it means, for example, when you give a player a handout, you don't have to share it to all the players. You can just drop it onto the player that you need to give it to, and only they can read it, which is quite cool. There are a number of rule sets available for Fantasy Grounds because it has a lot of the rules built into it. It's got things like a combat tracker, for example, which I can't really show over much because all I can do is open up an empty box showing the combat tracker. And different rule sets support different levels of the rules of that game system. It comes as standard with the basics of 5th edition, 3.5 and 4th edition and Pathfinder built in. There are a lot of community generated rule sets like the one we're using at the moment. This Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay 1st edition is a community rule set. And there are some that you can just purchase the rule set. So you can buy Pathfinder, for example. I did just say that it was included, which it is. But what's included is the rules, the mechanics necessary to run Pathfinder, and certain elements of it that are taken from the Pathfinder system reference document, which of course is freely usable. If you spend money, you can get the complete text of books. So if you buy the Pathfinder rulebook, you get all of the text that is in that Pathfinder rulebook. So you get all of the actual Pathfinder game, you get the whole book. You also get the illustrations, you get the tables for various things like treasure tables and stuff like that. And you get all of that you can use without having to put any more into the program yourself. Otherwise, that material that can't be legally shared without a proper license, you would have to put in yourself, and you can't share with other people. There's a Rollmaster Classic one that I have got and will be using, and just recently released AD&D's 2nd edition. So I have now got, and I'm trying to pay off my credit cards to make up for having bought, the Player's Handbook, Dungeon Master's Guide, and Monstrous Compendium for AD&D Advanced Dungeons & Dragons 2nd edition. Yeah, Gigas, that's not a bad way of saying it. It is a little bit like your full version of something versus a free trial. There's actually a licensing system involved with Fantasy Grounds as well, however. Yes. So, to play a Fantasy Grounds game, either all the players need to have a license for it, either paid on a subscription or just as a flat one-off fee, or the GM needs what they call the ultimate license, which costs that bit more. Again, can be done as a subscription monthly, or can be just bought outright. Buying it outright is $100 and something. I can't remember quite a lot. No. But what that does is, if you have the ultimate license, then people using the free download of the software with no license of their own can still play in your games. So Knight and I both have the ultimate license on the basis that way we can run games for anybody, any of our viewers who want to play with us, because they don't need to spend any money. Drat at the moment does not have that. At some point we'd like to get her a license so that she can run Call of Cthulhu, which is another of the systems you can buy for this game, for this tabletop. But we haven't actually made that investment as yet, because it's rather a lot of money.
I'm going to have to, but at the moment I don't have
it's
the will.
Far from a priority. It's far from a priority. So I'll jump back to the actual game screen now that everybody's back and we're ready to start.
Who is the large gentleman on the screen?
That's not Ivan.
That's the gentleman I described as a burly chap or hulk of a man.
Yes.
Well, he's a big old thing.
And Ivan is about that size, so it's although it's the wrong guy, it's a reasonable indication of what Ivan is like.
So strikes are going to be a shill how. Right, you tell me, Fish.
If you want Ivan, he looks a little more like this.
Oh, okay. Suddenly an Ivan appeared. Oh, hello, Ivan.
Nice clothes.
So again, Ivan is a little bigger than the screen, so I shall just shrink the window, then zoom out.
So bigger than the screen.
Yeah.
And I will close the other fella, who technically I haven't met, so I have no need to be looking at pictures of him.
I gave you a pretty accurate description of him.
But I'll keep
I
Ivan open, because Ivan, of course, we know, so I will leave his illustration open so that I can see what Ivan looks like. I'll close Brunhilde, because I know what Brunhilde looks like.
Pretty appropriate.
One of the things Fantasy Grounds is great for is that it's set up in such a way that if you put the time in, you can put your entire scenario, the full module, into it, and never need to go anywhere else. So you never need to open another book or notebook or anything again while playing. Everything can be inside Fantasy Grounds, and that includes for the rule sets that they support, such as 5th edition at the moment of D&D. You can buy complete scenarios ready to go with everything: maps, illustrations, scenario text, stuff that when you click on it will be printed out to chat in Fantasy Grounds for the players to read. Handouts, stats from monsters, treasure, everything already in the module, and then you just run the whole thing and never need to go anywhere else. Pick up a real die or open a book. Now, I like real dice and I like books, so I'm going to do them, but I also still obviously want as much as possible in there when running to make it convenient. And I would like to point out that we don't get any kind of sponsorship or anything. We're not affiliated with Fantasy Grounds in any way, and other virtual tabletops are available.
We just use this one because we like it.
Just this is the one we're using at the moment, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it would also somewhat presume that your party or players do not, immediately just deviate from everything you've got planned.
Oh, well, that's the same with anything, though. When you write a scenario, you automatically assume that the players are going to mess with what you've written, and most of it will be largely irrelevant to you.
I was going to say, you're not familiar with the way I GM, are you?
I'm sure that can be changed if Kiki is so inclined to join one of your games.
Hey, yeah, welcome to.
So, sorry, character names are left me for a second. Brunhilde and Erdit are upstairs.
Eating
are you
ferret
sharing
casserole.
your ferret
Yes, I have
casserole?
shared my ferret casserole with Erdit since he provided the ferret.
It's homegrown. It's free range, I'm going to say.
Oh, God, he is.
So, as timing-wise, after, in fact, pretty much about the same sort of time that you're coming back out of the fairly equipped kitchen, I will call it. There's not a lot of useful stuff in there, but enough to at least do a reasonable casserole. When you're coming out of that, Lenore is coming back upstairs, having done a bit of a workout downstairs with the innkeeper. Sorry, tavern keeper.
You might want to phrase that a bit differently.
It was a workout. Sorry,
Yeah.
a workout for the tavern keeper.
That's not much better. But yes, fair enough. Oh, hello, Brunhilde. Just randomly put a picture of Brunhilde up, Fish.
No, I didn't.
Fishy was discussing various elements.
I was filling time until you came back by talking about Fantasy Grounds. So,
and I thought I'd assist by providing pictures of what he was talking about.
It's much easier to show the stuff on Fantasy Grounds when you're the GM than it is when you're a player and don't have access to most of it.
Reasonable.
Yeah. At some point, I'm going to have to do a stream on my own channel now that I'm beginning to get the hang of how to use Fantasy Grounds on a this is Fantasy Grounds, this is why I like it, this is what I don't like about it, make your own mind up basis.
Yeah. Well, seeing as you're going to be coming back later, make yourselves at home, find the lay of the place, and I'll let your friend finish his lunch. Sorry, her lunch.
Their lunch. No,
Oh, yeah,
two
their
of us.
lunch. There are two of you. Yeah,
Yep.
their lunch. What was your name, by the way, love?
Lenore,
Albrecht.
good to meet you.
Likewise.
Okay.
Of course,
Well-
in her pit fighting days when she was renowned for beating the bejesus out of things, Lenore was known as the softener.
If you were within throwing range, Fish, this lid would be coming at you now.
I am so glad that you beat me to that one.
So Tuesday, Fish,
Yeah.
you were coming to Swords, yes?
Not anymore.
I may be spending the entirety of Tuesday's lesson wearing the mask, though, irrespective of what we're doing. I may just not take it off.
Is that like the green one that issued all that funky, cartoony stuff?
No, unfortunately not.
No Jim Carrey impressions from you then.
Yep.
Spooky.
Yep. Great minds falls never. Right.
So, having now had your audition
Yeah.
and been given a spot on tonight's card, what are your plans?
I'm going to explain as we leave. Well, as they're eating, I will insinuate myself between them. Well, I have absolutely no idea if it's germane to the disappearance of Sophia, but I do have a fight for tonight.
Well, that's good anyway.
Oh,
May not have anything to do with anything we're doing, but it's what you're here for. It's what you wanted.
It is.
And it might attract some attention to maybe help us with this, with the missing fighters.
And everything that we've been investigating seems to lead back to this area.
Well, I mean, it would be quite the big conspiracy to be crossing boundaries into other parts of the city, isn't it? You can normally expect that all the people involved in any particular nefarious undertaking are all going to be from the same part of town.
How do you manage to give nefarious an extra 3 syllables?
I don't know what you mean. I just said nefarious.
Uh-huh.
That's what word is, nefarious.
Yeah. You do chew on it, though, don't you?
From the old Reichspiel, meaning connected to fairies.
Edith, do you have anything to say about this matter?
Are you saying Earth's a fairy?
Elves, fairies, fae.
I think that's an unfair, slanderous rumour, a stereotype about his people, that they're all fairies. I mean, he
Yeah,
may be a tree hugger, but it don't mean he's a fairy.
hey, look, I'm normally strictly against most of the things you say, but I'm backing you on this one.
No, it had to happen. I was thinking fairy as in circle, not fairy as in anything else. That's not much better, actually, is it?
But anyway, that's where the word comes from. Yeah, circle. Little folk with wings. Them fairies.
I've just got visions of him tying wings onto his ferrets now.
God,
But
A
yeah.
waste of wings.
ferrets with wings.
Great.
Now I need to have stats for winged ferrets in something.
That was Londo. Oh, God. Kill it before it develops language skills. Okay.
So, what are we doing now, guys?
Finish your ferret. You made all the fuss about it. You get no dessert till you finish your ferret.
I will finish my ferret. It's a very nice ferret. Like
Oh, yes,
all halflings, Brunhilde is a good cook.
So did you actually make a cooking check?
No.
Probably should, actually.
Let's see how good your ferret
Is there a
is.
cooking check?
Probably is. I'm sure I remember seeing a skill.
There's a
for that.
skill, which I have. I don't know if it requires a check. Cook. Characters who can cook can prepare food to a high standard and judge the quality of both ingredients and the finished product. They also have a
Okay.
plus 10% modifier on their chance of noticing a drug or poison in food.
Okay.
If successful, the presence of some foreign substance will be detected, but not its nature. So there's... I mean, I could make a roll if you want me to make a roll to give... to determine how well I do, but this is one of those situations where it just assumes that given ingredients and knowledge of cooking, I can simply
You
cook.
can, yeah.
No, that's fair.
Fair enough. Yeah, it is good food.
All halflings can cook. It's a thing in Warhammer.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
So having while eating the stew, are you doing anything else in the tavern, or just sort of sit down,
As
get
they're
down
just
and-
chatting about to the people around me about how corrupt the watch are. She's still
I agree.
basically agitating. She's just agitating
Yeah.
on a slightly different subject to what she was earlier on,
Yeah,
and
you get
in
a
a
lot of
more
agreement around
intimate
it.
surroundings.
Okay.
Can I have an intelligence check for everyone, please?
I'm going to make an intelligence check. The first time this evening. My ducks.
Still happy to
I
do so.
am. I actually got a 14, which is less than 29, and therefore I made my intelligence check.
I failed it by 11, unfortunately.
Okay. It seems that, at least to Brunhilde, Lenore appears to be getting some attention. People are staring.
She's not my type, but
What, you reckon the Fellowship 45 and weird coloration might actually be helping?
it may well be. She's exotic.
I was going to go with weird, but yeah, that works.
Exotic's the nice way of saying weird.
Potatoes.
Yeah.
Unusual. She herself is strange and unusual. Okay.
Does this seem to be more attention than just they know she's a new fighter?
Difficult to tell. You don't know the clientele that well,
Yeah.
and she does stand out.
True.
She is a new fighter. Based on what you know of this place, it's fair to assume that if there has been an underground fight here for as long as the band's been in place, they would know most of the fighters. So she's new on that respect. Plus the hair coloration. If they've seen the eye coloration, she is exotic, something not seen here before, and that would garner attention.
Mm-hmm. And I'm completely oblivious to it. So
I'm marveling at how my ferret turned into this fantastic meal.
But certainly you don't detect any malintent or maliciousness around the stairs. They are literally, that's different.
I'll sort of note it to myself that this is the situation, and otherwise largely ignore it. Sort of keeping aware of the fact that people are paying attention, not completely ignoring them, but not doing anything about it, just being aware. And hoping that it's just because she's a new fighter, or maybe hoping a little bit that it's because they want to try and kidnap her, because that would help us out.
you're gonna clue me in on the fact that I'm being watched?
Almost certainly not.
Thanks.
Just hang a big sign.
So having finished up your food, what's the plan?
Well, we know we have a date for this evening, and I think Leonard as well would be useful. On the off chance that this does have anything to do, or anyone who's here has anything to do with the missing fighters, I think as many eyes in the crowd as possible.
Aye, you're not wrong there. Not sure I'm too happy about it being his eyes, but
well, to be fair, his eyes do go
you
to
work with
strange
what you've got.
places. Really. So I think we can probably deal with him. Besides, he'll be clean for a change.
Aye, that's true. Probably won't recognise him.
Depends. We haven't seen him since we left.
Yeah.
Goodness knows what he's been up to.
Bet when we go back, we'll walk right past him and not notice it's him.
I reckon he'll just exude filth through the pores. It's from an internal reservoir. We love Leonard. It's because Jake's done a good job of playing him. That's the problem.
Yeah, Jake plays him too well.
He does. He's kind of Baldrick with worse hygiene and better
He
brain.
does have a lot of Baldrick about him.
Yeah,
Gotta
there
be
is
said.
very much a Baldrick vein.
Yeah.
So having finished up, you head off back. Are you doing anything particular on your route back to the Grey Lord?
Are we?
I can't think of anything to do offhand. I think Lenore has probably gone straight into prep for fight mode. So, to a certain extent, she's now thinking about going into combat this evening. Because it's been a couple of days since she's had a fight.
Okay. So through the afternoon, once you're back at the Grey Lord, from wherever Ezio was at, he has returned.
I did leave a gold coin, by the way. He said it was a gold crown to use his kitchen, which is hugely stinging me and overcharging, but I left the gold crown anyway.
Fair enough.
It's
We'd
fine.
love
We're
to be
gonna,
able to make it back on the wagering tonight.
yeah, we're gonna make so much back on just betting on the underdog.
Better mean me. Okay.
You can actually, you can eat for more than a week on a gold crown, but
Yeah, you can.
yeah, but,
gold crown is a lot.
just making a point that that's what he charged, and I left it, trying to pretend that I can afford to, that I'm just flash with money and I don't care.
To be fair, Fish, you didn't actually pay for the ferret.
No, I didn't. The ferret was free. This is true. I mean,
Yeah.
that might have cost me a couple of pennies for the ferret. So
You say free. There was a lot of time and effort put into that ferret.
Yeah.
yes.
It took you 30 seconds
From an
to slaughter.
expert and professional ferret breeder.
Look, slaughtering a ferret is just one part of the process. You've got to breed them, you've got to raise them on a balanced diet of larger ferrets, and to get the larger ferret to feed them in the first place, you've got to go through the whole process again.
I'm sorry, are you divinating? Are you divining things with cannibalistic killer ferrets?
This was established in the first session.
It was.
That's how the ferrets. He doesn't feed the ferrets. He just leaves them in the sack and they eat each other.
I think I had managed to erase that surgically from my
It's
brain.
survival of the ferretist in there.
Darwin's ferrets.
No, they're Erdith's ferrets.
Well, clearly your tactic was learned from the elven diviner
Yeah,
Darwin.
Darwin was who taught him.
Indeed, a great marvel in the world of elven divination.
Gods. Oh my giddy
So
aunts.
from wherever Ezio was at, he is now back. He's still very subdued, very nervous looking, very pale. And Inga is doing far more work than she had prior to Sophia's disappearance.
Mm-hmm.
Oh god, I've forgotten the woman's name again. Ludovica is nowhere to be seen on your return.
Okay.
Hibbert presumably is still upstairs. And likewise, Matilda doesn't appear to be downstairs. She may be tending to Hibbert, who knows.
Okay.
Ivan, however, is sat downstairs nursing a big jug of ale.
Okay. I'm going to head over to Ivan. So how did your audition go?
I have fight tonight.
Oh god, you're going to fight Ivan.
Where are you on the bill, if you don't mind me asking?
I forget.
Do you? Well, I would imagine you're not going to be top of the bill. I mean, they don't know you.
I forget.
Ah.
I care not for where I am.
Odds are I'll have you fight another newcomer, just show off both.
I mean,
Could be.
first rule of Underbar Fight Club.
You don't talk about. You forget all about everything to do, apparently, with
Underbar, overbar.
Ah, combat wombles again.
Combat wobbles, yes. We'll
Always
have combat
outmanned, never outgunned.
Just seriously wondering about, is there a possibility we can pinch something off Matilda? Not Matilda. Yes, it is Matilda, isn't it?
Yeah,
The
Matilda's
cleric.
the cleric.
And insert it into whatever beer Ivan is drinking just before his bout. Just to even things
Are
up.
you
a
not
bit.
We invite you
confident
to
in
sit
your
and
abilities?
A drink in toast of a glorious evening tonight.
I'm thinking that if he gets his hands on me, I'm dead, so he never will.
His hands are about the size of your head, so yeah,
Yes.
it's entirely possible.
Yes. Given the option, I will be using the sword that gives me about 5 or 6 feet range. I will not be going for grappling unless I absolutely have to.
Oh, go on. Bit of wrestling.
So did you say
Greco-Roman.
bear wrestling? If it's against Ivan, that's not far from the truth.
What do you reckon? Wrap and dislocate?
Maybe.
No, actually,
Just
yes,
think how good the Chancellery would look. Dragging somebody that big around.
oh, that would look awesome. And I don't think he's got the wherewithal to actually think about what he's doing. I don't think he's got the brain to get out of it.
Yeah, I think a bit of bare knuckle pugilism would be far more interesting than going in with weapons this evening.
I've got a knuckle duster. I'm not stupid.
Yeah. Specialist weapon, fist weapons.
You reckon?
That's the skill for using knuckle
Is it?
dusters. Specialist
So do
weapon,
you have
fist
any
weapons.
plans prior to heading back out after dark to get there for your 7 o'clock bout?
I don't. As I said, Lenore is now focused very much on this evening rather than the investigation. But I think if we need to snag Leonard.
Unless somebody can think of something that we haven't already, we've kind of hit a dead end on the investigation, haven't we?
So we're going to have to carry on with what we've got and see if anything comes up around and about. I really can't think of anything else at the moment.
That's cool.
And yes, I do have specialist weapon fist. Two-handed fist, flail, parrying. Strike mighty blow, strike to injure. Weirdly not grappling.
Okay.
So more of a pugilist than a
I
wrestler.
suppose pit fighters don't tend to be grapple. You know, it's not a normal mode of combat in the pits.
No. And I suppose things like the grab lock and drag is going to be less useful against someone like Yvonne than it would be against someone smaller than her.
I mean, I presume it's far easier to grapple someone who you've already decapitated.
Well, that depends. I mean, it's very difficult to get him in a headlock.
And a chokehold would be difficult.
Yes, that's particularly tricky.
I
Oh,
know
the
the
chokehold's
chokehold.
best.
Yeah, the chokehold will be much easier. There's far less weight attached to it.
Yeah, true.
Or a lot more.
I suppose, yeah, technically, I think the chokehold would be essentially impossible. However, the headlock I mentioned earlier probably is actually quite easy because you don't have to worry so much
About the rest of the body.
But yeah, you can get a headlock using, say, a sack.
Oh, I've so got the edge to use Chancery on this guy.
Is a sack regulation equipment for one of these fights?
Not usually, but that's
you
because they don't do
honestly-
wrestling, so they don't need a headlock.
Yeah, do you honestly think we're going to have specialist judges doing equipment checks? Past, are you all using the same sword?
I think the only rule is there are no rules.
I highly doubt everyone's using the same sword, otherwise there's going to be a bit of a fight at the start.
Well, yeah, that's quite interesting, though. That makes for a good entertainment. You just drop one sword into the middle of the arena and say, go on, then go for it. See what happens.
I let somebody else get the sword, then I'll take it away from them. It's easier than scrapping. Blade stripping's a piece of cake if you got the habit, got the hold right.
Yeah, I haven't really
like
learned
that.
that. I didn't do Messer.
Messer and dagger. Both teach you blade stripping.
So preparations for the evening then, you're presumably going to be... Sort of,
She's going to be warming up and
Warming up
making
within
sure
the
her
room.
armour's in good order because, yes, she's wearing her armour.
It's still relatively early in the day at the moment, isn't
yeah,
it?
it's,
only like
it's literally
lunchtime.
just past lunchtime, so you've
Yeah.
got sort of...
We've got
So-
a few hours,
Quite
yeah.
time.
I think Brunhilde this afternoon wants to go shopping.
Haha, the role-playing shopping session.
Yes, because I forgot to go shopping before we started. Didn't spend any of my starting 12 gold crowns. So there's a couple of bits and pieces I should have picked up, but I didn't.
Okie dokie.
Such
Okay.
as a sling. Given that I have
yes.
specialist weapon sling,
No sling.
I figure owning a sling might be good.
Want some company then?
Yeah, why not?
Okay,
so that'll
so
be 2 shillings for a
Lenore is
sling.
accompanying Brunhilde. What's Erdit doing? Is Erdit accompanying as well?
I shall have light conversation with Ivan here towards what's going to be going on this evening. See whether I can gauge the competition at all.
Okay.
I love the fact we've all just assumed it's going to be Ivan. It's probably going to be Ivan's bigger brother in the fisherman's sweater. Yeah, so he's wearing the brigandine, the other guy. Don't like that.
Can I reasonably assume that I have got some... so that my money is not entirely in crowns?
Yes.
Because I rolled the 12 gold crowns. You can't spend a crown. So I'll break that down into shillings and pence as well here and there.
Exchange, yeah,
Cool.
absolutely.
Cool.
That's not walking around with a bunch of £50 notes. You
Yeah.
can't do that. You've got tenners, fivers, pound coins.
Yeah.
Right, okay, so let's break that down. I'll knock 2 off my crowns, which will give me, let's say, 38 shillings. And the remaining 2 shillings will be 24 pence. There we go. I've now got actual money.
Shopping in the old market and old quarter, or are you heading to another area of town to do this?
I would have thought Altmarkt would probably be fine for the things I'm looking for. I'm not looking for anything particularly overly posh. So I'll just go to the nearest market.
Okay, cool, that's fine.
And yeah, I'm looking for someone who sells slings and, hopefully, bullets. I can use stones if it comes to it, but I'd rather have bullets.
Please tell me there is a stall with the sign slings and arrows.
Yeah, but everything on there costs an outrageous fortune.
Set them up, knock them down.
See, it's not just the low-class humour, you get high-class humour here as well. Didn't say it was any funnier.
No.
But yeah, not a problem. Those things are fairly common. There's nothing exotic that you're looking for, so I've got no problem with you going for that.
Doesn't look like the game wants to give me a cost for sling bullets. However, if I just use the same cost as for firearm balls,
Yeah.
that's probably it's going to be much the same thing, isn't it?
It's like, yeah.
Yeah.
And while you're on this afternoon sojourn shopping, could I have intelligence checks from everyone, please?
God.
Okay.
Might work. Oh, for the love of Bob. What the board?
You have my sympathies, Drat.
Oh, Jesus.
That's
I
for the
wanna
second
use real
time
dice.
I make an intelligence check.
Yeah, well done. I've got a better chance of making an intelligence check than you. It's not fucking fair.
Okay, so Fish, you're clearly on the lookout for bargains and all of that sort.
It's like shopping with my mum. I'm there to carry the bags. I know my place.
But what you see instead, Fish. Okay, what you see, Fish, is that the same person around a couple of corners that you sort of round and double back, and you just keep bumping into the same woman. Dark-haired, olive-skinned.
I don't like to worry anybody, but I think that woman's following us.
With my attention drawn to her, is it the one I was keeping an eye on earlier?
Yes, it is.
She was paying attention to us earlier when you were doing your little speech, and then she bugged out when she saw Ivan. Maybe you should have a word with her.
Maybe.
Tell you what, I'll look at the stuff on the other side of this next stall, and you say hello, okay? Maybe you can exchange some tips.
Are you sure
I'm
that's a
going
good plan?
to. Sorry? Did not catch that fish.
Are you sure
Are
that's
you
a
sure
good
that's a
plan?
good plan?
Well, they won't be any longer than arm's reach away.
Resisting
And
the temptation to say, which arm?
my arms, not Brunhilde's arm.
Just checking.
Yes, Brunhilde is a call to arm. Um,
Let's just keep an eye on her for the moment. I want to know if she's following, paying attention to any one of us in particular.
okay, in that
Because
case.
if she's following me, I'm not going to get near her. Whereas if she's following you, I might be able to sneak up on her while she follows you.
Well, you know what? There's some fascinating looking cheese over there. You stay here looking for bullets, and I'll head over to that stall and see where her attention goes.
Okay.
I know you can make rat cheese. Local speciality. Very small milking stalls. That makes a change from ferrets.
True, it does indeed.
So. We'll do that.
Going to attempt to shop looking natural.
I don't know, just shop casual.
Ah, how does this thing? How does this thing work? Oh, damn it. Okay, it only gives me an option for that. Right, fine. In which case, we'll do half of one of those. Okay. So, as you split your separate ways, the woman appears to be paying far more attention to Brunhilde.
Probably an agent of the Graph. After me for sedition.
The agent of the Graph after you to be recruited. Okay, I'm actually going to buy some cheese.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
I have some cash. Nothing overtly smelly. I think Leonard's got that covered.
God.
But
So-
something sharp that you could grate over pasta.
So while Lenore is buying cheese, what is Brunhilde doing now aware that she is being watched?
Well, having
By this
obtained her sling and sling bullets,
Mm-hmm.
she's going to start looking around, because it's a reasonable thing for her to do, for a cooking pot.
Okay.
Gives her an excuse to move around again, because they won't be sold on the same stall,
No,
probably, as slings and sling bullets.
Yeah.
Yep, there is
So-
indeed another stall selling
There's-
kitchenwares.
So she'll start poking at cooking pots and assessing different pots and trying to decide what she likes, while keeping an eye on this one out of the corner of her eye
Okay.
to see what she is doing.
Okay.
The woman's definitely keeping her distance from you, but is certainly keeping tabs on you.
Huh.
Right, well, I'll buy the cooking pot,
Okay, it
because it cost me a fortune to borrow somebody else's earlier on.
well the cookware, certainly the stall you're at, is not good quality. It'll do at a pinch, but it's not great stuff. So
Yeah, I'm
if you're
assuming
looking at stuff on
standard
the
value, though.
page, sorry,
I'm assuming standard value, though. No?
cheaper.
No, I get to save money.
Ooh.
75% price
Right,
because it is
okay.
inferior quality.
Mhm.
So that's
going to explode
to
the first time you put a lid on it.
be 15 shillings. So I will get some change.
Probably
Wow.
fell off the back of a horse and cart somewhere.
Oh, that's no wonder it's dented.
Ouch. Last used as a helmet for a halfling.
Or possibly butt armor. Sorry, very thinly veiled PUBG reference.
Having
The game where you can pick up a skillet to use exactly as butt armor.
okay.
To the point that there are skins available for it that put a target on the skillet.
Having bought my cookpot, I'm going to amble past another couple of stalls, idly looking at what they're selling.
Yep.
And then, at the earliest opportunity, duck down an alley out of sight. And once in the alley, look to see if there's somewhere I can hide.
Okay. Do you have any sort of
I do not have any of the skills, no. So I just have the base 30% sneak roll.
Roll said base 30%.
Roll said base 30%. Okay, so percentile die. Well, 92. That's not so very sneaky. Failure by 62. I think that's going to not work quite so well.
Dude, really?
Brunhilde stealthily and swiftly ducks into the only pristine, completely clean alley with not a single protuberance from any building in the whole of Middenheim. Finds herself standing in the open directly underneath a lantern.
The advantage of this being the old market is that it's a very busy, bustling area, and there is no such thing as a clean back alley.
Yeah, true.
Lenore.
Okay.
You watch as Brunhilde disappears down one of these side alleys, and
What's
the woman that's
doing?
been watching Brunhilde goes straight past it and takes the next left.
Hello, she knows the area. Okay, I am following her.
Okay. Do you have any sort of... And in which case, would you care to make the base 30% roll, please?
Meanwhile, Brunhilde is standing in an alleyway with a pot in her hand, looking terribly obvious in her hand. Not one hand, she's only got one.
What was it I was rolling?
Percentile to get
Oh, just straight percentile.
Yeah, straight 30%.
Of inventory, etc. 97! Oh,
That's
no, 91.
even worse
My
than mine.
apologies.
Oh no, it's not quite as bad as mine. By
No,
1
91.
point.
So, with a bunch of bad rolls in a row for everyone...
I think I'm looking at the rolls, and to be honest with you, I have questions about the randomization on Fantasy Grounds today.
Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see the rolls that I made.
Some of them.
But if anyone that's in my chat would care to look at the last 4 numbers, 2 of which are the rolls that I made, they're all of the same order, all 4 of them. So, Lenore, as you turn down the same alleyway, you can see this woman looking around as if she's lost something. Sees you.
I am going...
At which point she does turn around and desperately trying to impersonate the Flash. Cheese it, lads!
You know, this is really starting to get up the nose. And she could do with some cardio before her fight. So, sensible though this may not be,
Yeah.
I'm afraid I'm going to light off after her.
Okay.
Since my cheese is in my pouch, and I'm not gripping a stick of cheddar. Mature rat cheddar.
So before
Maybe
we
she'll
get to
double
the
back
chase,
down the alley that I'm actually in and I can throw a pot at her.
I'm going to flick back to the inn where Erdit has a far more sedate time talking to Ivan.
Ah, yes.
Yes. Okay.
So Erdit, what is the line you're taking trying to get information out of Ivan or talk with Ivan? What are you looking for and how are you going about it? Erdit,
Hello?
Kiki, you with us?
I am indeed.
What's your line of approach with Ivan in the tavern? Sorry.
I'm going to be, yeah, I'll buy him a drink
Hmm.
and sit at the table with him, and I'll say, so, what's your preferred fighting style then? I've seen those I travel with, of course, but haven't seen much of yourself.
I like close fight with fists.
Oh, fantastic! Well, that will be a good watch, won't it?
I like to make good show.
So, you've been in many before then, or?
Many. I have many fights.
Oh wow, any I might have seen? I've been looking for some with real prestige.
What's the pay-per-view on the
Only here in
Blood
Middenheim.
Bowl?
I
I'll,
have not fought outside city.
I'll continue with idle small talk to tease little nitbits out of him.
He's actually, well, when talking about fights and past exploits, he's quite vocal about what he's done, knowing he's not talking to a fighter. Um, so he's quite happy to give you some of the gorier details about some of his favourite fights. Where he's in a single punch launched his opponent out of the fighting ring and into the crowd, or that one time where he broke the guy's jaw off within seconds of the fight starting.
Noted.
He may be slightly changing my betting plans.
Well, I'm feeling the love.
He's quite a haughty sort, and his grasp of common isn't the best, but you can certainly the conversation to understand where he's about. Do you have any sort of conversational skills for eliciting information that he may not be quite so willing to part with?
No specific skills. However, I can make a basic fellowship roll.
Can indeed, yes, please.
Which, oh, it didn't roll at all. There we go. That's pretty good.
That's pretty good. Okay. So, he's in the first bout of the evening.
Oh, wow, okay.
He doesn't know who his opponent is, but apparently Albrecht said that it would be a challenge for him.
Righto.
And that was before you went along, so
Yeah.
it can't be you.
Yeah, it's not going to be me.
He was quite annoyed that he wasn't able to fight the current champion, who presumably is going to be the third fight of the evening.
I mean, it would make sense from a showmanship standpoint.
But he reckons he's more than happy to flatten whatever gets put in front of him so that he can fight the champion. And he seems very confident that he can flatten with whatever is put in front of him.
Okay.
He's a big lad. I mean,
So, does he speak at all of his experience with fists versus swords?
He does. He does.
Swords go
And
away.
he claims that he lets the other person take the sword because he can't use them. He then relieves them of it and throws it out of the ring.
Oh, brilliant. Okay. I have the information I want.
He is very much a melee fisticuffs only. He didn't specify at all whether he uses knuckle dusters or not, but the skill's basically the same. So chances are, if you give him a knuckle duster, he'll take it.
Until the others return, I shall simply allow him to freely boast of his exploits.
And he does. He
Uh,
does. All the while you keep the ale flowing, he's boasting.
Fantastic.
So, meanwhile, back
Okay.
over at the chase that's just started.
Yeah.
Can I have an
Sorry.
athletics roll, please?
Probably
athletics.
not. Is that? That's actually a skill, isn't it?
Yes,
I've got fleet-footed, if that helps.
it does. It very
Well,
much
indeed,
does.
yes.
What that?
That is some excellent vision.
That was excellent vision. What? That's not also what I rolled. No, that's. Okay, right. So that's what fleet-footed does. Okay, so just percentile then, yeah.
Yes, please.
No, need to reset my dice.
Fleet-footed, for those interested at home, adds
One
1
point.
to Drut's move score. Or rather, to Lenore's move score, since it doesn't affect
Yeah.
Drut in the slightest.
And allows me to run plus 50% distance, apparently. But I don't think it does. I think that may be wrong.
Right, what did a drop roll?
The drop didn't. Hang on a sec. The drop got up.
Okie dokie.
73. Fuck's sake.
That typing is failing me.
Lightning reflexes. I've got and fleet-footed.
Okay, so
Both of those add directly to your stats.
Yeah.
so you take off after this woman.
Okay.
You're clearly quicker off the mark than she is, and you're catching her.
Just rolled really badly. Okay.
She rounds a corner. You following around the
Okay.
corner?
I am following round the corner, but I am doing so in a half duck as I I'm going to actually grab the corner of the brick.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is that I'm rounding. And I'm going to go through at a bent at the waist.
Okay.
I'm going to put my head lower than it would normally be. Because if I were going to ambush somebody, I'd just smack them in the face as they came round, but they did not.
Right. That apparently didn't occur to her.
Damn.
As you've come round at a duck,
Yeah.
you can see her vaulting onto a low cart, open top cart. Looks like she's going to make for a rooftop.
Oh, good.
Ooh. A rooftop chase.
Wouldn't this be cool if I could climb? Right, okay. Let's see if I can do this. Dexterity?
Do you have any acrobatics?
Don't be silly. No, disarm, dodge blow, fleet-footed, lightning reflexes. Unless we're going to try and work it out to ride, I don't think so.
Then dexterity.
Okay. I haven't made a 39% roll this entire game session, so I think I'm slightly scuppered. Oh, bloody hell! I made it.
So you did. Question is, did she?
Hose, 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 hose.
Well, now here's an interesting situation. You're catching up on it. You are faster than she is.
Mm-hmm.
She hits the cart, leaps up to the roof. You hit the cart, make the leap. You land on the roof. She lands on the floor face first.
So, how high is the roof? And if I jump straight down, can I basically land on her?
Don't land on her. You'll break her.
Okay.
You're about 15 foot above her.
Oh god, okay, fair enough. Adjacent to her then. A drop takedown rather than I drop and kill.
Just looking for the falling, leaping sea.
Mm. Well, if it comes to it, I'm going to do a one-arm pull down on the side of the building. Should...
Right, what do we need to do? Let's see. The jump is a controlled vertical descent. That's what we're going for, isn't it?
Yes. Yes, it is.
Okay.
Land on a leg, that's a bonus. How badly did she roll, by the way?
90.
Ooh.
Well, technically 81. But the difference between 81 and 90 is not that great.
No.
So,
Okay, so controlled vertical descent.
controlled vertical descent.
Makes it sound like I'm using thrusters. Dexterity, or am I doing something else?
That's the bit I'm trying to work out.
Oh, okay, no worries.
Makes it sound like I'm using thrusters, says the woman who previously suggested she was going to death from above onto this person.
What is your move score?
My move score is 4.
Okay.
Assuming that's the M next to
Yep,
weapon
that
speed.
is the end.
Sorry, my PC's being weird.
So, can you make me a dex roll, please?
Huh? That's an interesting question. Hope so. Or won't, hope so. Oh, can I? Oh, yes, I can!
Yes, you can.
Good God!
Okay, you can land pinpoint on target wherever you wanted to land.
Okay, yeah. I am going to land directly, I think either side, feet either side of her legs, so that I can do a knee drop without hurting her and keep her on the ground.
Right. How dazed and confused is she? Not overly. Okay.
Okay?
She rolls herself over to try and get up, then realises you're right on top of her.
Mm-hmm. This just looks ganky now.
She has a bit of a no shit look on her face, but freezes in place.
Good call. You appear to have some interest in my friend. Who are you and what do you want? Nobody ever accused Lenore of being subtle.
No.
I'm curious.
You're curious. Your curiosity had her under surveillance in the old quarter and following her around the market now. I can introduce you.
Hello. She's got a loud enough. I'm making sure that she
Yes.
has nothing malintent towards my boss.
And your boss is? Just so we know who not to annoy.
Gaetano Repetti.
Really.
Really.
Right. I saw which alley
You did?
Brunhilde went down. On your feet.
You want to back up a little so I don't bump into you when you get up?
I will do it the absolute bare minimum of distance and help her up by grasping one hand. And then I'm not letting go.
Your strength is...
My strength is 5.
Okay, yeah. That's
Yeah,
gonna be a
yeah,
problem.
That's
Yeah.
quite strong.
That is quite strong, yes.
Yes. That's too stronger than I am.
And I'm going to basically walk her round by the hand like a recalcitrant child. I have her right hand in my left.
Okay.
I'm going on the balance of likelihood that she's right-handed. So if she tries anything, she's going to have to do it awkwardly.
That's fair enough.
And I am walking her round to where I saw Brunhilde vanish.
Okay. Did Brunhilde go anywhere different after ducking down this alley to hide?
No, she's standing in an alley holding a pot, waiting to see what happens. This has only taken a few seconds, really, hasn't it?
Yeah.
So she probably is still hasn't yet figured out quite that the woman isn't coming this way.
Yeah.
So your first clue to the fact that the woman isn't coming this way is when she's
It's when the woman
dragged
comes this
round
way.
by Lenore.
Not quite frog marched, but it's in that
As near as damn
general
it.
ballpark. Yeah. Kind of school teacher time. I think you have things to talk about.
Lenore,
So,
got a new friend, have we?
apparently, this young lady works for Repetti.
Oh, aye.
Hmm.
I'm not going to say something stupid like, can you prove that? Because of course you can't.
So, why don't you tell us again why you were watching my friend?
I was curious. I want to make sure that your friend doesn't have any damaging ideas towards my boss.
If I had damaging ideas towards your boss, would I have had tea with him this morning?
Yes. I've seen it
Really? I'm suicidal now, am I?
Before. I've seen it before.
He's an odd one, isn't he?
What do you mean odd?
Does he often invite people who he thinks might be hostile to breakfast?
Who said you thought you might be hostile? I thought you might be hostile.
So this is an independent action then. This isn't under orders.
What's the word? When you do something like initiative. I'm showing some initiative.
Yes, I saw you showing initiative all over the floor back there.
What you were showing, love, is how utterly crap you are at following people. Now, I would recommend that you get a lot better about it by practicing on somebody who isn't me. Otherwise, I'll next time I talk to him have to tell your boss how bleeding obvious you were following me around this city. Then you might be looking for a new job, mightn't you?
Well, you didn't need to go that far. Did you? I mean, what would be the point in that?
Sorry.
Who said there had to be a point?
Right, well, yeah. So what now? What you gonna do with him?
We may be in a position to help each other out here, actually, as it happens.
That would be an idea.
I'm
See,
listening.
you clearly need to practice your shadowing.
Would appear to be obvious, yes.
And I do have some concerns that there might be somebody rather more competent and dangerous taking an interest in either myself or my companion here. So what if I give you permission to follow us around, to see what we're doing, and to make sure we're not doing out that's going to be dangerous to your boss? And in return, if you see anyone else doing the same, you let us know.
Yeah, I can do that.
It's a deal. And if you give us out useful, you never know, there may be a few coins in it for you.
Few coins for anything useful. You want to shake on that?
Yeah, go on.
Sticks in her hand.
I will release her hand and let her.
Brunhilde will shake.
You'll never wash that hand again, will it? Oh wait, never mind.
It's not Leonard.
Good point. Yes.
You got a name, by the way?
Anna Maria.
Anna Maria. Nice to meet you. Brunhilde, Lenore. Though
Must
you
make
probably
your
already know that.
Mm. No, oddly enough, when sitting on her feet, it didn't come up.
No, I meant since you were following us, she probably knew who we were.
Oh.
I don't do that with that hand, because I haven't got that hand. I do that with that hand.
True.
Yes, and your elf friend and your other friend.
Yeah, yes, the walking health hazard. Yes.
Kenneth.
Yes. So you do know. So exactly who have you been talking to? In order to get our names and particulars.
I was listening at Gaetano's place when you were being entertained.
Fair enough. So how much do you know of what goes on in the old quarter? In general.
Fair bit.
Mhm. Fights at the Bloody Tusk. They're relatively close to Gaetano's HQ.
Yep.
I would assume that they pay him tribute in order to avoid any unpleasant attentions.
The chap that runs it isn't of our blood,
Mm.
so he throws some coin our way to keep us away from his business.
Very reasonable. Do you happen to know if the fights are square?
They fight in a circle.
You happen to know if the fights are rigged in any way?
Nah, the guy ran legit fights when it was legal. He's just doing them now because he wants the money coming in from the fights and the crowd still.
Seems reasonable. Okay. That's fine then. So, Brynhilde, anything else you'd like to ask our new friend?
No, I think we understand each other well enough.
Seems fair to me. Right. Coffee pot.
That's it? You're not gonna beat me up or anything?
Well,
Not
I
this
can
time.
if you'd like, but I've already had a little bit of a workout. You know, fast action, that sort of thing. Doesn't seem worthwhile.
Right. She looks around looking incredibly nervous.
Oh, somebody's level 1. So who are you worried about if not us?
Well, honestly, you caught me following you,
Mm-hmm.
and you've not left me black and blue. If anyone's watching, that looks wrong.
Oh, slap her about a bit. Not too serious.
Are we still
You know-
A few
working?
bruises to make it look legit.
You do know, right? Don't you? You know how to leave a mark without doing permanent damage. Did they not teach you that stuff?
And just in case they watch you, make it look like a proper fight.
God knows me, ma'am knew.
Okay. Honestly. Yes. I'm going to.
Do you have like strike to stun or something?
That
I
would be
don't
ideal.
have strike to stun,
Strike to injure.
unfortunately. I have strike to injure.
I suppose strike to injure. If you know how to injure, you know how to not injure.
I mean, I guess you've got the undusted backhand.
The
Well, you see-
backhand's nasty.
But yeah,
Backhand-
we
backhand's bloody
learnt
nasty.
Bafrives the other day. That's bleeding nasty.
Yeah,
Bit of
that's
Sabat.
an eardrum burster. The Baff and the Baffiverse are nasty ones, and the really nasty ones are the pivot
Yeah.
and the
It
chopper.
is surprising, actually, when you know how. It is surprising how nasty an open-handed slap can actually be. Savat doesn't do punches when they're not kicking you. What do they call them? Saboteur will hit you with an open hand, and that is a full-on martial art, hitting you with an open hand with the intention of knocking the bejesus out of you.
Yes, you can knock somebody out with an open-handed slap. That was an eye-opener. No pun intended.
Certainly like closer.
Yeah. Yes, you catch them in the right place.
I think
and
it
you're
was
hitting
actually
that
the bath, wasn't it, where Tommy said hitting against the pads being
Yeah.
held up by somebody else. But I think it applies to a few other things that we did that day. But I think it was Bath where Tommy specifically said, if it doesn't sound like a gunshot, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah. Yes.
Nice.
So that's scary.
Yeah.
Okay.
So would you care to do a
Strike
weapon
to
skill
injure?
roll to
Weapon skill is okay. Yep.
and you're striking to injure rather than
Yeah. I would.
That'll
I,
leave a
I
mark.
would like to ace it. Thank you.
That'll leave a mark because you're doing a strike to injure rather than to kill. We're taking. I'm taking that in the verse as how not to injure but leave a mark.
Yeah. Also, how is her hair fixed?
She's got it pulled back in a ponytail.
Not anymore. I'm going to grab a handful. I'm going to put a hand against her scalp so it doesn't get torn out at the roots. And I'm going to tug it halfway out of the ponytail.
Cool.
As if we're grabbed.
Nice one.
The little details are everything.
Indeed.
Before you go, and you might want to get a stake on that, you're worried about us having ill intent towards your boss. Do you know anybody else who might want to, say, frame him for the disappearance of a young girl?
No.
Anything comes to mind?
Ezio's last night.
Yeah.
Word's gone around that she's gone, but
Yeah. The trail was fairly clearly laid to your boss's door. Now, we don't think he did it. But I think somebody would like us to think he did.
no one springs to mind. But I'll put some thought on it and let you know if I come up with anything.
That strikes me as that would be to both our benefits.
Can you two both make me a? Which one was it?
Alish?
I believe it was a cool roll, please.
Okay.
Sorry, was that cool, did you say?
Oh, nearly. Missed it by 3.
Lenore is not the coolest of people. Oh, yeah, missed it by about...
Okay.
Yeah, about
Missed it by
38.
3. Come on. Dude.
And with that, now sort of clutching the burgeoning bruise.
Yep.
She quite happily goes on her way.
Yeah, make it look good.
She certainly didn't seem to flinch at the idea of pain. You get the impression that she may well have been on the receiving end of a few beatings in her time.
Yeah, that's why I will have tried to hurt her as little as possible while leaving a decent mark. Because I don't like hurting people unless I'm actually trying to put them down. Seems unnecessary to me. Besides, it's always a bigger test of skill. I figure it's practice. My throat's on the verge of going, actually.
Oh, dear.
So, having completed shopping, heading back again to the Grey Lord?
Yes, that
Yeah.
seems reasonable. Don't think there's anything else I wanted to shop for.
It looks like the weather's closing in. Dark clouds starting to roll in. You can see rain up in the north edge of the city, probably going to start making its way south.
Uh-huh.
Oh, actually, there is one other thing I needed to shop for, but I will assume I've already done that and just spend the money. I've bought a cooking pot. I don't actually have anything like a bag, I don't think.
I thought everyone got a bag as a...
Check. I've not got one listed in my equipment on my character sheet. I will check what stuff I got just for being a rogue. See if I got a sling bag or something there. And if not, I'll buy one.
To not give a rogue a bag to put all their stash in. I'm pretty sure that everyone got a kit bag of some sort.
Yeah.
I could be wrong.
Nope. Rangers and fighters get bags. Rogues and academics don't. So I will have just bought a simple sling bag, Indiana Jones style.
There we go.
Cool beans.
Right.
So a gas mask bag for...
Yes. You would think I'd learn some mute alerts. So, are you done shopping?
Yeah, I'm done shopping.
So back at the Grey Lord, is there any information exchange between yourselves and Erdit, who's been leeching information out of Ivan, who's now looking a little bit rosy-cheeked, I think might be the polite way of putting it.
Well, I think at very least we probably ought to tell him that if he sees a girl following us, not to worry about it.
Yeah, that's actually what I was going to say. Young lady by the name of Anne Marie has been taking an interest. We've had a discussion, and she seems concerned purely for Gaetano's welfare. We've assured her that we have no such intent in his direction. Oh, and I punched her. So she's going to keep an eye out, and if anything related to anybody wishing to phone her boss comes up, she's going to have a chat with us. She seemed quite relieved. Also, have you been getting him drunk?
Kiki, you there?
Look, Gigi.
He's still in the call.
He's still in the call. Isn't he in the same house as you?
He's in the next room.
Oh, right, okay.
I haven't heard him go out.
Has he fallen asleep?
Erdit, Kiki, you there?
Hello.
Give me a second.
Fair enough. Okay.
Bangs
right,
on the wall,
kidding.
but it does no good because he bangs on the soundproofing.
Oh dear.
Did you mute yourself by any chance?
He's back.
Welcome back. I'm guessing you were muted for a moment there.
Yes.
Oopsie.
Easily
Okay.
done.
He's
Yeah.
I've
All
done it
been
myself.
there.
Nodding so vehemently there. Yeah, so, did you manage to get anything out of Ivan? This conversation is not happening at the table with Ivan. I'd just like to make that absolutely crystal.
Oh, indeed. Looks like it's going to be a glorious fight.
Yeah. Any idea who's going to be fighting?
Oh, not in the slightest.
Any idea when he's going to be fighting?
Oh, he's up first.
Good, good, that's a relief. So unless it's winner stays on, it won't be me tonight. Great.
Now there's an idea.
Great. Thanks. No, why did I do that?
Never give the GM ideas.
You would think of all people that I would know this.
Indeed.
Right. Okay then. So.
Well, from what I understand, he's more than so-so.
Uh-huh. Is he so before or after he's drunk?
When you say it from what I understand, do you understand it because he said it? Because that might not be 100% entirely trustworthy. It's possible his opinion may be biased.
Oh, I'm certain he didn't embellish things at all.
Yeah.
Ah, yeah. Mind you, he is a big lad, so who knows?
Okay.
Fortunately, that cup was empty when I just knocked it onto my keyboard. Thus saving me from doing a night.
Okay. 2 for 1 on those. Okay.
You mean you might not bump into a lamppost?
Bumping into a lamppost is one thing. Bumping into a lamppost horizontally at 40 miles an hour, that's something else.
That takes skill.
It does. Skill or
Got practice
superpowers.
to get that right, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I think the trick is coming off better than the lamppost.
That's the important
The
part.
lamppost
yeah.
isn't there anymore, so
Yeah.
So technically, you
Victory.
achieved that. Well done.
Victory! Okay,
The rains have started.
yeah, we've got to make it across
I've
town.
thought of something else I should have bought.
What?
Bleed Nat.
A hat would do it. Bleeding hats are reasonable. I, however, have a hooded cloak and therefore don't care.
You can be frustratingly annoying at times.
I was,
On
however,
the other
going
hand,
to...
I am much shorter than you and
I
can
was
probably
going to
stand beneath
suggest-
your clock.
Yes, that's exactly what I was about to suggest. I somehow feel this is not the first time that's
Probably
happened.
not the first time it's happened
I'm
at all,
fairly
no.
certain it's also not the first time the discussion has happened in game.
Reasonably sure that yes, it's been concealment previously, but now
Yes.
this is rain concealment. Just noticed it's now 10 o'clock. I don't know how
Yeah.
people are fixed.
We should be coming to end in about the next 20 minutes or so.
Cool.
A suitable ending point will be very, very imminent.
Okay. It's ominous. Ominously imminent.
Say that after a few pints.
Ain't happening, mate. Okay. So crochet.
So, after a couple of hours of rest, it's gotten quite dark outside.
Yeah.
Rain's gotten heavier and heavier. There's now thunder rumbling around.
Right. We're leaving because I don't want to be rushing in and all soggy.
You'd make a name for yourself doing that.
Uh-huh.
Well, if she comes in all wet, then she'll go from being the softener to the water softener.
So are you heading out together, and am I assuming that Leonard's going with you?
I think probably yes.
So all four of you are headed out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't matter what he's been doing in the meantime, he's had a shower on the way there.
Exactly, yes. 2 washes, 1 day.
My
Yikes, he will not
God,
know
yeah,
what's
he
in
may not recover. Best give him an insanity point.
Okay, so head out the inn door.
Mhm.
There's a really loud clap of thunder, timed almost exactly. So the storm's pretty much on top of you, with a bolt of lightning illuminating the sky, and something else.
Oh, God.
Stood off to your right, at about the area that the hearts had previously been arranged,
Mm-hmm.
is a figure silhouetted wonderfully by the lightning strike.
Uh-huh.
About 6.5 feet tall, animalistic looking, kind of bat-like wings, and it's looking at you.
You're certain that this demon was not genuine?
Under the circumstances, there's only one possible reaction that Brunhilde can have to this. Get out at rain, you pillock!
And that's what we're going to stop.
Oh my God. I've just got images. You just know this thing has been wandering around in the back garden, placing itself, trying to work out which direction the lightning's coming in, so as to be perfectly silhouetted. And every time anyone goes near a door, it's been there going, right,
Ready?
braced. No, okay. It's 2 drunkards have gone that way and they just never looked in its direction.
I mean, it's all of this rain and lightning certainly can't be any kind of foreboding for what's about to happen at all.
Oh, no, absolutely not. Also, by the way, no, I'm not using a 6-foot sword in lightning. I'm not stupid. Just for future reference. Flail, wooden handle. Although, to be fair, sword's going to have leather wrap on the handle as well. Okay.
Although, to be fair, leather wrap's not going to do much if the lightning bolt hits that sword.
Not a great deal.
Nor's the wooden handle if it hits the mace.
Well, if it hits the mace, then it might scorch the handle, but I should be safer. I'll be
lightning
considerably
splits
safer.
trees. It's not going to do much to a little bit of.
No, it's going to destroy the handle, but on the other hand, it will destroy the handle and probably then not jump straight into me. Ideally. Yeah, right, fantastic. Oh, we're doomed. Right, I just love the idea that the presence of a demon provokes advice.
Well, to be honest, Brunhilde's working on the assumption that this is somebody in a demon costume. Because she's still working on her previous theorising.
Even if it isn't, you've probably got a leaflet for it.
Yeah, probably. I'll have to write a new one for that. I've not got any leaflets on demon rights.
Demons and You, a survival guide.
Yeah.
Did you just say demon rights?
Demon rights, aye. I mean, if you think about it, demons have a hell of a hard time, don't they? Because they're only ever coming here when they're being summoned and controlled. Like slavery, that is, basically, isn't it? That's just magical slavery. It's not on. It's no wonder they've got a reputation as having, being in bad mood all the time.
So it's rights, R-I-G-H-T, rather than R-I-T-E.
Yeah, absolutely, okay. Yeah. Demonic rights, R-I-G-H-T.
Oh, my word. But, of course, you've got to spread it around bookstores and things so that people pick that up accidentally when they're looking for demon summoning.
Oh, we're going to do that really, really annoying thing of putting the proselytizing literature in
Does that
books.
make it the first clickbait in the Warhammer world?
Yes! Split bait as you go through a book.
Clickbait, I like that.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Alrighty, folks. So, with what should have been a nice cliffhanger, it's turned into a comedic ending.
It's still a cliffhanger. There's
It
a
is,
demon
yeah.
and it's going to try and eat our faces.
Yes.
Assuming
Especially
it's actually
Brunhilde's.
not someone in a demon suit.
I think it's still
yeah.
even if it's someone in a demon suit, I think they're still going to try and eat our face.
On the plus side, it's only about 6.5 feet tall, so it's shorter than Ivan.
To be
So
fair,
we're reasonably
so is a
sure.
lot of
We're
things.
reasonably sure it's not Ivan in a demon suit. That's I
Yes.
think it's what I'm taking away from that.
Exactly.
Unless he's standing like this. If
It's also too
Ivan's
skinny
doing,
to be Ivan.
oh okay.
I mean,
that makes me feel better.
I'm kind of just hoping it'll say, "Oh, all right then, good call." Wander on.
It's going to do the Batwing thing over the head. It's doing
Yes.
that in Totoro.
We cannot harm it. Its wings are like a shield of steel.
Let's test that theory.
Nice. Alrighty, folks. That does me for the night.
Okay. Right. Yes. Good night to everybody.
Yes. Thank you for being here.
Yes.
Hopefully
Next week is
Castle Falkenstein.
Next week will be Castle Falkenstein.
Okay. Yeah. Cool.
Cool beans.
Yep.
So Tuesday, I'm playing drums, as always. Thursday, I'm playing drums, as always.
Yep.
What are we doing Wednesday for midweek multiplayer? What's the
Something.
plan?
Something will happen for
A
midweek
thing,
multiplayer this
maybe.
week.
Hopefully. Yeah. We've been letting midweek multiplayer slide a bit too much lately. We need to do something this week, definitely.
Yes.
But I don't
Yeah, I
know.
mean, Daph and I flew the flag and did some.
Yep.
Siege, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, I was watching. I was watching that. It was cool. Yeah, so we will do something. I'm not sure what, but we shall do something.
Cool
And
beans.
Thursday, I will probably be back on Lamplight City after your drum stream.
Cool.
Look forward to that. Cool beans.
Okay.
Thank you very much, and see you next week.
Good
Bye-bye.
night, all.
Good night, one and all.
Bye.